So what's up, Saskatoon? What's going on? The Prairie Medicinal Harvest Cup 2015, the 5th annual. It's good to be here. I'm Jeremiah Vandermeer, editor of Pot TV and Cannabis Culture. Pot TV is going to be hosting this one. We got Johnny B on the stage here.
How you guys doing tonight? Nice to see you guys. 5th annual Prairie Harvest Cup.
We're going to be doing my show, Cannabis Culture News Live, on the stage right now. We're going to bring Jeff out as our first guest to kind of give you guys the overview of what this cup really is, how Jeff got to where it is now, and where this is all going, what we're going to do this weekend. We're going to be getting him high the whole time. And then just after we bring Jeff out, I'm going to bring up Matt Murnau, the cannabis champion, who's here from Toronto. He's going to walk us through exactly how you guys should be judging your judges' strain packs this year, some of the rules to that, and exactly how he thinks you guys should do it, what's important from a judging perspective. And yeah, then we're going to roll on to some of other stuff. I got a full schedule. This weekend's going to be fun. We have music. We have speakers, activist speakers. We have the Can Olympics is happening at this event. So we got some new stuff in store for you. It's going to be fun. But first thing I want to do is bring out Mr. Jeff Lundstrom, and we'll start the show. Jeff, my man. Thanks for having us here, Jeff. It's always a pleasure to come here and do this with you, man. And we got to get you a microphone there. We got you one. Yeah, a little switch on there. We are
live on Pot TV, yes.
That's right. This is all being broadcast live at pot.tv. And if you want to send people there, livestream.com/PotTV Network. That's the place to find the live stream. So, Jeff, amazing. This is all coming together so really soundly, actually, considering the stuff you have to go through, man, which is a hell of a lot.
Down to the wire.
Yeah, exactly.
This morning it was, anyways.
Was it? And I have my judges pack now, so we know that it all worked out in the end.
It did. We were actually sweating in my garage till about almost 3 o'clock. We didn't get some samples until literally 12:30 or 1. So me and my friends bagged up like 200 times over and went hardcore. So yeah, I was sweating. I got sweating. I could probably use it though.
Nice, man. Well, and now, how many actual strains are in the pack this year?
So we were really worried because at the beginning of this week, I ain't going to lie, we didn't have all 18 flowers in there. And I was stressing. So I had to make some emergency phone calls to some really good people. And got some samples, and we have 18 flower entries this year. Yeah. So that's it's 6 in each indica, sativa, and hybrid category. And then everybody's been bugging me about concentrates since that's the new wave.
Yes.
So this year we introduced the concentrate categories. We wanted to do a solvent and a solventless, and we were going to do 4 entries in each category. We're going to do just the first place, but we couldn't come up, of course, with 2 solventless. It was really hard. So what we did is we just combined the solventless and solvent category, and we're just going to give away first, second, and third place. So you guys will see on your judges' forms it's set up. Matt's going to go through all this too with the judges' forms, but you'll see it's set up because we coordinated the lids to the judges' form this year. Where's Freddie? Where's the one-man smoke show?
King.
Freddie Pritchard, that was his suggestion last year. I kind of gave him a hard time too. He's like, you should put different colors on the lids, Jeff. And I was like, well, you want to do my fucking job, dude? And he was like, well, I'm just saying, man. You believe it or not, it was actually a great idea. So thank you, Freddie, for that. So we color coordinated everything this year, so you guys will notice. We want to make the judging as easy as possible so that we can count the scores as easy as possible, because that's a bit of a chore on Sunday. And then we can present the winners that everybody picks. So I'm really excited this year. It's awesome, brother.
And is there, in the past, you've had a pretty heavy prairie contingent in the strains.
Oh, we have a heavy prairie group that's growing this year too. So I'd say out of the 18 strains, then there's 7 or so that we're growing right here in Saskatchewan. So, and that's what it's all about, is harvesting and growing cannabis and growing medicine in the prairie. So that's what the Prairie Cup celebrates. And if you guys want some great growers all around here, Jeff and the guys over and at Nabi Root, and they're the Queen City Seeds over in the corner, the guys from Regina. So if you're looking for genetics and you guys want to get some genetics and grow some great weed, go check out both those guys. Otherwise, sit back, get high.
One of the reasons I like this cup is because it's in a place, most of the big cups are in Amsterdam, Jamaica, or Toronto, Vancouver, these places.
Yep.
Yeah, it's very rare to see it on the prairies. I mean, there's nothing here in Canada. So you are bringing this sort of community right to here, to the prairies. But the prairies have had a strong pot community for a long time going because of your work in a lot of ways. For the past little while here, you've been really spearheading a lot of what's happening here. And, over the past 5 years, the landscape has changed slightly as well.
Well, even though we did the whole CBC thing with the numbers, and they're talking about arrests, and it's actually about, it's just people being charged with possession of cannabis, which is really high.
Right.
But I mean,
you guys are the highest, right?
Yeah, but I mean, that's more people just not knowing their rights. I mean, for the most part, you just got to know what's up and know how to deal with the police in a general level. So, I mean, it comes down to, I think those numbers surely happen, and everybody just goes hides in their basement. Yeah. Like the first year we had this, guys would show up, grab their judges' bags, and pieced out for the whole weekend. Yeah. And then they didn't smoke here. They went home and got high, and then they came back on Sunday and handed their judges' form in. And we had like 50 people in the house.
Well, and that's the other thing about having it in this event that makes it so great is you can actually keep the community together in here while we're hanging out and having fun. And some of the other places, they have you spread all over the place when you're doing the cup. So it's nice that you do keep it. That's why we call it the friendliest cup.
That's right. We want it to be togetherness, and that's what this community is. It is for me. I see everybody as an equal, and we want to just make sure that equality goes towards legalization so that we all can just continue to enjoy the plant. I ain't ever going to quit smoking.
I just say it's a great big
now,
family
Jeff, I
here.
wanted to... Oh, sorry, Johnny.
I was going to say it's just a big family here. That's why I love this event, and that's why I always said it's like up close and personal. You get to see everybody, and it's one of the more chill back, relaxing. I really enjoy it.
For sure.
Can we turn John B's mic up, please?
Yeah. Can't hear me?
Now, Jeff...
You don't need to hear me.
Thank you.
You've been here doing this for a long time. And,
8 years for Skunk Funk, so.
Right.
Yeah.
And, for people who don't know about some of the struggles that you've had in the past or what you've been doing here, how did this come up for you? How did you get started on this whole pod thing? What was the thing that kind of, made you move into action?
Well, there's a whole backstory to all that, but believe it or not, on Sunday, I have a big surprise plan that nobody really knows about that I'm going to do. I'm not going to tell you much, but I guarantee you that you guys are all going to hear the backstory about how I did get involved and why it meant so much to me. There's some people here this year that really inspired me to get into activism and start my shop, and Mark Emery would be one of those people. He's here somewhere, I believe.
Mark and Jody are here.
Mark and Jody are amazing people, and just inspired by them. Greg Williams, if you guys don't know, Marijuana Man is in the house.
Marijuana Man's here. He'll be helping us out with Pod TV.
Greg is an amazing man. If you want to know anything about cannabis, where it originates from, how it grows, why it grows the way it does, even how the structure of it is, anything you want to know, Greg Williams will let you know. He's one of the most educated persons when it comes to just plant knowledge, but never mind just cannabis culture in general. But Mark and Greg and a wonderful person named Michelle Rainey were the biggest inspirations, honestly, of my career. People that I looked up to and inspired me to push forward. I don't think without that I would be here at all. So, but like I said, on Sunday, more of that backstory with my big surprise that some people know about, nobody knows about.
Now, you've had Skunk Funk going on here in town for a long time, which is kind of the hub of a lot of the pot stuff that happens here.
Yeah.
And things have changed this year with Skunk Funk as well.
Yeah, we just expanded. Yeah. So we're growing. It's great. I've been blessed to be in a city where franchise head shops have come along. And the horrible thing about a franchise head shop is even though they do give back to, like they are part of the community, they don't care much about what the community is. Like there's 6 shops in Saskatoon, and only one guy from one of those shops is in this house today. So it's not like anybody else really comes and to support from the other stores. Franchise head shops are usually ran by, industry greed. They want to make money. So it's not. So Skunk Funk was just a platform. Like people are like, I love my head shop. Like, don't get me wrong, but I could live without it some days. Retail game's really hard. It could be a lot of stress. So
and there was the Vapor Lounge thing going on.
It was nice, yeah, the Vape Lounge too. Like I wanted that Vape Lounge so bad.
Tell us about, you tried to do a Vape Lounge thing this year, but that didn't end up happening. Tell us about what happened there.
Okay, so if everybody doesn't know, I tried to open up a place called Vape Escape. Yeah. It started off as that. We ended up calling it the Lounge in the Loft, but it was Saskatoon's first Vapor Lounge. And that was a dream. I've had a dream to have a vapor lounge for a long time. I've always been inspired. Chris Goodwin and Vapor Central and all those guys. I just love that. I'm like, why can't we just hang out and get high with each other all day? And we do anyways, but just do it in our mom's basement. So we wanted to do the lounge and the loft. It started off as Vape Escape, and we grew from the back of my shop, which is actually now where we expanded in my store so we can have more space. We turned it into a vape lounge for about 6 months or so. It ran like that for 6 months. I moved it to its own location, and it just had a lot of hardships. We had lost some insurance, couldn't get insurance on it. We had troubles. We did a newspaper article trying to kind of shed light on the fact that the vapor lounge was there to get more people to come, and they did a really bad story that, basically said the police were going to be investigating us and stuff. People were really worried.
It was media attention.
It was media, and then the city sort of showed up at my shop and was like, "You need to let us in there and inspect it and stuff." And I was really intimidated by that. And I'd lost my employee, so I'd been working, the shop, the lounge. It's hard to do without really good people. So unfortunately, we just couldn't keep it open. It came a financial restraint as well as time. I can't. Right. It's so. But as much as you want a dream to live, it sometimes just happens to fall. So I believe strongly, the vape lounge didn't go anywhere. It went into my friend's shop. I put it out in her acres in her shop. That's where it is. So the vape lounge still exists, and it's coming back when we fucking legalize. Yeah. And that's all there is to it.
Well, a lot of places, we have a vapor lounge in Vancouver, Cannabis Culture, our lounge there.
Beautiful lounge.
And as part of Health Canada's letter writing campaign, they've been sending out stuff to the dispensaries. There's a whole bunch of dispensaries in town.
I know.
They've been threatening people. But we have the city themselves threatening us to shut our vapor lounge down because they're under pressure from all these different places, and they're coming up with their new regulations, but they don't allow for vapor lounges themselves. So there's still a fight, I think, even when these dispensaries start coming in, for the place to actually consume the marijuana. In Vancouver, we have this weird situation where they're going to allow a bunch of these dispensaries to set up, but they're not allowing people to smoke in any of them.
That's right.
And you can't smoke indoors anywhere.
Got a place you can drink your booze, though.
But as
a lot of places.
My Health Canada license states, I'm allowed to smoke in any public property. Oh, sorry. And I made the very point. So
Thanks,
if I was at a mall, it was private property. But if I went out onto the street on a sidewalk, that's public property, and I can medicate there. So, that's the way the laws stand as a person who has a license to be able to produce.
Yeah, if you have a license, you should be allowed to consume your medicine.
And that's the screw part about it, is I can stand in the middle of an intersection and smoke, but we don't have vapor lounges. So that we say it's about time we stand up for our rights, right? So
I think you're just seeing a shift. They learn the look. It's towards legalization. They know. That's why all the big plants are opening up for the LPs. They're prepping for it. So they all know what's coming. They just want to fight it for a little longer so they can pretend to go, "Oh, we were right," It's that element of control. Like I said, trying to police free will. Good fucking luck. It hasn't stopped me from smoking weed.
No kidding, and it won't. And that's the crazy thing about it is as they go on, and they allow these dispensaries and other things to exist, there's going to be more people smoking. But it still seems like it's this half prohibition thing where they don't want to, they're just appeasing people instead of actually
You know what I tell people? I think it's because societal is how we're raised. It's like the kid that got caught when he was 14 or 15. Your mom, your dad sat you down and said, "I don't want to see it. I don't want to hear about it. I sure the fuck don't want to smell it. If you do those three things, I'll just turn my back and pretend like it doesn't exist." So that's what you have with the society that we have, the police and all of them. They just want to pretend, "Oh, we'll just pretend as long as you don't put it in our face." The minute you put it in our face, then we got a problem with it.
How about dispensaries here in the city?
We do have a dispensary in the house. They're here. The Saskatchewan Compassion Club, and they're just loaded. They're up at the front. There's Lane. He's waving.
Right on.
If you guys need some information about medicine and where to obtain some doctors and all that stuff, they're doing well, and they're just a couple blocks down. If you guys want to go visit and take your license down, sign up 100%. To become a member and get some quality cannabis.
No trouble from the heat?
Well, poor Mark got the same letter every fucking buddy else did. So, but September 21st came and went like 2012 came and went, and the world didn't end, and nobody got their doors kicked in. And so I think they just like blowing hot air. They want to see how upset they can get people. right? So
Well, and they're using it as an election fodder to whip up their base of supporters, to make people, all the old religious folk or, the people the real conservatives who don't like this young Justin Trudeau and his legalization, so there's that whole thing. On the political side of things, is that part, obviously everything you do as part of your pod activism is political. Have you been campaigning at all for the next election in the shop, or people coming in? Are you telling them to vote?
We just promote everybody to get out and vote. Like, of course, I say you vote, because we have a younger crowd that comes to us, so of course we want them to vote. We encourage everybody to vote. I'll be there to vote. So
what do you think of JT? Justin, what do you...
I don't know.
If he does what he says he's going to do.
Well, everybody says he's wet behind the ears, He's a young cat. He hasn't had a lot of experience. But how do you get good at your job if you're never given the opportunity to? So,
Yeah, that's just propaganda from the other side.
But I think we just look towards policy. What are policies? And it's more than just one issue. Legalization of marijuana would be lovely, but I'd hate to see that we just get behind one person because of that. When we were to look at all their platform, I think Justin Trudeau has a head on his shoulders, and everything he talks about on all his policies are fairly sensible.
And unfortunately, the other guys, the NDP, who used to be more supportive of our community, have kind of reneged on that, and they want to decriminalize, but they're not really.
Let's explain to everybody how decriminalization does not help anything.
Yeah.
What happens if you decriminalize, then you make it not a punishable offense, a criminal offense. Now it's a financial constraint. So now it's going to cost you money if the cop wants it to cost you money. Okay, which is horrible, because you shouldn't be allowed. They don't let the mob go around to collect cash anymore. So why should the police be allowed to do that?
And they would be.
And then what happens with decriminalization is you take all the police resources away from the people with minor possession, because all they're going to get is a fine. So now they go after growers and they go after pushers, and that's going to push your prices up. So
and what it really means
legalization is the only way. Colorado, Amsterdam. Barcelona, Uruguay. Just look at the platforms of where this is already fucking working and then apply it here. It's not rocket science.
No. Yeah. And when you look at what's happening in Colorado, for instance, man, it's just insane. It's off the charts, the amount of positive things that are happening down there with money coming in from taxes.
Yeah, and they're cutting everybody a check. They collected so much tax. Yeah, no, they're not. And here's one. Prescription pill deaths are down 25 or 30%.
Yeah, they drop.
I always tell
Opiate
people...
addiction is dropping. All of that. They're talking about that. There are less intakes in the hospitals dealing with opioid drugs, stuff like that. Alcoholism has gone down too. There's actually some great results of what cannabis is doing in these legal states, which is more and more evidence is coming out clear, because the governments are actually bringing that information forward because they're seeing it.
It's funny how they know all the information but pretend like they don't, and then say the exact opposite of what they know.
Yeah.
No, it's not like that at all.
Even Tom Mulcair, even the NDP guy, he keeps saying, we need more studies on this stuff. But how many studies do we need? Really?
Well, they don't want to look at any of the studies that are actually done. So, until they let us allowed to do our own, so we can shove it in their face and be like, here you go. But they won't till we see, like I said, full legalization, and we'll just be done with this story. We'd be having a better time in life.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Jeff, this weekend we have a lot of stuff planned.
Lots going on.
Yeah, one of the new things that we haven't really, that I don't know much about, we've been talking about it, but is this Olympics thing.
Cannabis Olympics.
The Cannabis Olympics, yeah. So can we tell people what that is? And
the Cannabis Olympics will be 3 different events hosted at 7 p.m. Tonight we're doing the Great Weigh Out. So you got to weigh out different amounts of weed with your eye, and the most accurate person will be awarded. Okay, so there's the great.
I want to be involved with this.
There's the great way out.
The Great Way Out. So tonight is the Great Way Out.
So tonight for the Cannabis Olympics, the first event is the Great Way Out. You can sign up for that here a little bit later, around 6:30, 6:45, and we're going to set up over at the top part near the back there.
That, please.
So we're going to do the Great Way Out, and then tomorrow is the fastest joint roller. So we're going to do that tomorrow at 7.
The fastest joint roller.
And then on Sunday, when we open up, the first event, the last event is going to be synchronized dabbing.
Synchronized.
So it requires 2 people, and you must do like a routine. So you have to come up with a little dab routine. And it has to be done in synchronized motion. And then you have to dab at the same time together and exhale. It has to be synchronized. And that's called synco dabbing. And that'll be our last
event. Can anybody compete?
Anybody can enter the Cannabis Olympics to win. I'm going to enter. I want to have fun.
Cool.
So we're going to have a sign-up sheet or something. I don't know how we got running so late today, and I'm pretty sure I haven't yanked my head out of my ass yet. So we're going to get set up for it. We'll just sign-up sheet or something and see who wants to be involved and get a few people and get the heats going. And we even got the bronze, silver, and gold medals.
Oh, you have the medals?
We have medals. And, yeah, man, I'm telling you, dude.
Goodness.
Got it all part of the awards ceremony on Sunday, which is a really big day for me. Like I said, I got something super special planned.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
Oh, we have a question
Neil
from the audience. Neil Magnuson from Pod TV here.
For those who need to get an early start on the judging, there's 3 different colors of the letters in the thing. What do those colors represent?
The colors represent which category?
I know sativa, hybrid, and indica, but which ones are which is what I'm asking.
If you have the judges form, the category lines up to the colors of the lids. Well, then go to the front. They're at the front. So if you guys look on your judges forms, your A lids or your indica lids will be the same color as the indica category.
I see.
And if
What color's
I,
that?
I don't know because I don't have that info in front of me.
Now we're gonna get, like I said, when we're finished with Jeff here, we're gonna bring Matt Murnaugh up, and he's gonna walk through that.
Yes,
list
Matt
with you.
Murnaugh is going to
where is
run. The
Matt?
Cannabis Champ is going to give you a rundown on exactly how all the judging and everything will go, including this, because, like I said, I haven't pulled my head out of my ass.
It's quite the pack there. So some of the other stuff that's happening, Jeff, we have the Olympics. We have a DJ coming in too to spin some tunes or something?
Tonight we have breakbeats like reggae DJ. He's going to start off the night. And we have a hip-hop artist, Kwame Gomo, coming in to perform.
Nice.
And then we have my performing artist. If you guys, he's floating around here somewhere, the big guy with the dreads. His name's Yellow Sky. He's a Canadian Aboriginal reggae hip-hop artist. And we just put his demo together, and we're doing a video release with
Very
his
cool.
first video that we've done.
He was here last year too, wasn't he? Or 2 years ago?
Before.
2 years ago, yeah.
So I'm super happy to have Yellow Sky here performing, and then
Yeah, he's great.
we're just having the night spin out with some DJ music, and that's pretty quiet night. You know, we're just gonna take it easy.
Cool.
Not so much rocking out like we have the
Right.
last few years.
Yeah, it's been.
I'm sorry. I think in the welcome video we said we were gonna have the hip hop hippies here, but there was some schedule problems with the hip hop hippies, so they're not coming this year, unfortunately. But Kwame Gomo stepped in, and he's gonna rip it up, man. Guy's ill as shit. So.
And you were saying before that there's that's okay, brother. There's also we have some activist speakers, of course. They'll be talking tomorrow over the next couple of days.
There's a huge list of guest speakers, a long list. Everybody's going to get to hear all the guest speakers, and some of those people, are, of course, are Dana Larson and Jody Emery and Mark. There's a few other people, Jade Ridge and Asia Moon from Three Happy Cats. Greg will be speaking. There's people that everybody will be getting up to talk about their experiences, what they do in the industry. Ramo will be talking. Jason Wilcox, whoever else wants. Anybody's got time on the mic if they've spent time in the activism, for sure.
There was also talk of a comedian coming for a comedy show or something. Is that something?
Yes, tomorrow night we have 2 comedians that are going to perform, and
Nice.
our main act is Lori Ferguson Ford, and she's actually a medicinal marijuana patient.
Oh, cool.
So we have 2 stand-up comedians tomorrow night, and we also have a hip-hop DJ spinning out tomorrow night.
Very cool. So it's a packed weekend of stuff. And
For
then,
sure.
of course, we have the award ceremonies.
Yeah, on
Now,
Sunday is the awards.
We have the awards over here.
Over there.
The big packs. What are those things full of?
Okay, the cups here. I think Ryan from Shine showed up. Okay, we just haven't got the cups up yet. We will eventually here, as when we're done the show. But the gift packs, if you guys look, those are all for the winners of the cups, and all of that stuff comes from our sponsors. So you heard Neil mention most of the sponsors. Like, we couldn't do it without any of those guys giving us all this free stuff, right? Like, I pretty much call people every year and beg them for free gear, and then I sweat like I don't have enough. And then I'm like, these gift baskets are like super full. So, like I said, I'm very thankful because we couldn't do that. We wouldn't be able to give them away without people giving it to us. So, it's a big deal. And our platinum sponsors this year, Boss Vapor Co., Sublimator. I'm sorry Sublimator couldn't be in the house. Enrico wanted to be here so bad, but
He said to say hi to
his
everyone.
life is crazy. He's going to have a son, and God bless him and Terry. And I love Sublimator. I love Enrico. They're like the best Canna family I have. Like they're amazing people, and I know they'd be there. My sublimator's over there, so if you guys want to dab out, feel free to go hit my sub.
There's one over there too.
There's one over there as well. So there are some sublimators in the house, so please use them. But please be reminded that Sublimator, platinum sponsor, as well as the Beard Brothers, platinum sponsors. They came in sort of late. We wanted to give the Beard Brothers platinum sponsorship because I just love Scott and the guys and everything that they do. I appreciate all their hard work, the activism. I love you guys. I'm coming to get super fucking ripped after, by the way. 38 dabs for my 38th birthday.
Oh,
38 dabs.
There you go.
Is what I'd
That
like
sounds like
to
a
do.
good video.
So, but I mean, everybody's here, cannabis in Canada, and we couldn't head to head, and B&B Hydroponics and MJ Creams and everybody that comes and sets up trade shows and Kind Selections. Tim, I couldn't be here without you guys. We wouldn't be here without you. I give you all a round. Woo!
And visit.
Thank you to every single one of them. Like, I just love you guys so much, and I don't even know how to express that. Except just
for the people at
Shatterbeard.
home, we have actual expo booths here too for the people watching at home, and for the people in the crowd, go check everything out. What people have to show off. And stuff.
For sure, that's what the industry is about. We all make our money by doing this. So, go support them. Go buy some seeds. Go grow some weed, and come to the shop, buy a pipe, and that's what fuels the movement. The Prairie Cup, all the money that we make from this event, I donate to people in the cause. This year, we're going to be giving Glenn Price. I don't know if he's here yet. Glenn, are you here? Whenever Glenn Price gets here from Winnipeg, Glenn is getting a bunch of free money from me to help his, if he doesn't know this already, he's getting a bunch of free money from the Prairie Cup to help his defense fund. Greg, he had the dispensary in Winnipeg, and he got raided and shut down. Those guys are unbelievable assholes. So
yeah, and that was with the help of Pam McCall from Vancouver. It's Sam calling in to get him shut down, right?
Yeah, Pam just needs to get laid. We know what her problem is. I'm not going to touch on that because she has so much hate that it's not even worth spending my time on it.
Yeah.
But whatever she's doing will come back to her tenfold. Karma is a terrible thing. When you start fucking with people who are good, I'm sorry, life will catch up to you. I mean,
yeah. Well, and Jeff, you're a medical user yourself. That's how this whole thing happened in a big way.
I wouldn't be sitting here if I wasn't using marijuana as a medicine.
So,
I would have been dead from the pharmaceuticals.
It's one thing that I don't have to think about because I don't use it for medical reasons that way. But if somebody was trying to take away my medicine at all times and I had to worry about that as well as being sick or whatever else, like, man, that's just some brutal shit.
Don't forget that these people are broken on disability too. So they're financially constrained, and that's a big problem we got with this new LP program. I'm sorry, you can't afford to buy $12 a gram. You go to your street dealer and get it for fucking 10. You can come to me and get it for 5. So like it's.
Have you tried any of the LP weed? Have you seen any of this stuff?
I have smoked some of the LP weed. I can tell you the ones to stay away from and the ones to go to. So I mean that's a long list. I mean, what is there, 20 or 25 of them at this point? So I mean I just want to go back. I'm lucky. I'm under the court injunction. I still have an old license, so I can still produce my own, even though I'm not. But I mean, I think I'm in the same boat. Like John, we're just gonna do it anyways. Like
grow your own. Yeah.
He's just gonna keep growing.
Exactly.
I've been living vicariously through John's garden for the last year because I've been growing.
Everybody I've talked to has said that if they try and stop them, they're just going to continue it anyway. So
well, like I said, you're trying to police. Like once again, you're trying to police free will. And at this point, with the medicinal program, you're not only trying to police free will, you're trying to police necessity. So you think people that are sick are going to stop
Quality
to think,
of life.
oh, I might be in fucking handcuffs tomorrow? I don't think so. I mean, I might be in a hospital bed tomorrow, so I'll take handcuffs too. Fuck you guys. Like,
kidding. Have you given this guy any dabs yet there, Johnny? Have you served?
I gave him a few. I gave him one, but he's been sitting there. We let him go. I gotta
I'm
get
sorry,
him
I'm
back in
chatty.
there.
That's cool. I want you to keep feeding
But I mean,
stuff.
what you say, Jeff? I mean, growing
dab
everything.
time?
I was going to ask you, Jeff, about dabbing. I know
dab
this is the big thing in our community now. It's everywhere. It's you basically had. There's no choice but to include it in the the contest here. Is this something that you take part in a lot? Are you a big dab guy? Is there a kind of extract that you prefer or anything like that? Where's dabbing on your radar?
Well, you know where I stand. I roll around the world with my sublimator, so I think that's pretty clear. I don't smoke.
You get me high in a lot of other countries.
I don't smoke flower through it.
Oh, you don't?
I don't.
I actually do smoke my flower through it too.
My sublimator never gets flower. I have a volcano for that, but it's for dabs only. I like concentrates because they deliver a quick delivery system. I a joint, unfortunately, you got to smoke the whole thing. It's really heated. With a vaporizer, you got to fill multiple bowls. With a dab, you can have a quick hit, and it's instant relief for my pain, and then I can just keep going. So usually that's what just helps me keep me level. But yes, I recommend cannabis in every form. The best way to intake it is to eat it. So if you can make it into an oil and put it into a gel cap and take a couple of those every morning and every night, your body will run very well.
Make sure you heat
so
it first.
it's what we know about the oils. It's not so much intaking. The reason people smoke it and inhale it through their lungs is because that's the quickest delivery system to get high.
Yeah. You can titrate easily that way, right?
That's right. So
But
you
also
know,
how
at the
much to
same
take
time,
and
you
how
got
much
to make
to
sure
know.
you heat it before you eat it, because
Yes,
if you don't heat it before
decarbonization.
you eat it, it ain't going to do anything
but
for
that
you.
happens if you're cooking it off. So.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, just say
Yeah.
heat it before you eat it, but, learn a little bit more about that. There's lots of information
Well,
on
and part of these
decarboxylating.
unfortunately, part of like the regulations in Vancouver are banning extracts.
Here's a
or
heating
for the most part,
decarbing.
banning edibles as well. They allow you to have some sort of oil that you keep in it. But the federal government, of course, we had this Allard case, we had the Smith case about extracts. And now the government has come back and actually allowed some of the LPs. The LPs will now be doing extracts as well, right?
Thanks, Joe.
No, they're going to be doing olive oil extraction. That's the hydropocketary, and it's just like, so they're putting it into an olive
was a good
oil.
one.
Olive oil extraction.
It's an olive oil, so it's not like they're giving edibles or you're going to get. It's really, here's some oil, go home and cook with it.
One of the
type
LPs actually has the license to do this already now, don't they?
Hydropocketary.
You hear DNA signed with Tweed?
No.
Yeah, that's
what?
all over news.
What's
That-
going on?
I didn't hear
What?
that.
Yeah, if you
Wow.
guys haven't heard, DNA has officially signed with Tweed. They
So
are
you can
moving into
Tweed.
Ontario.
Get some
Well, at least
Tangy.
they'll finally get some good weed.
Yeah, exactly. Some Tweed 10G would be all right.
If Don and Aaron are growing it, it'll be good.
Wow, so that's exciting, actually. I'm actually pleased to hear this interaction with LPs. It's not that I hate the LPs or anything like that. It's the government that made these rules. The LPs themselves, if people were allowed to grow at home and if people had their own gardens and things, the LPs wouldn't be a problem in my eyes.
I don't think so either. I mean,
Yeah.
equality, right? Like,
Yeah. Wait, we have a crowd.
What's happening?
We have a person from the crowd. What's going on here?
No, can I say something about Sweet Jane?
About Sweet
Because
Jane? What is it you'd like to tell us?
Sweet Jane was my little edible line that I had going on for all the cancer patients.
Oh, yeah.
But ever since that law changed, it got taken down.
Oh,
and no, I was doing awesome with the Sweet Jane sodas, supplied through all the weed stores, throughout Mega Chill, Mega Ill, everybody.
Yeah.
And then, no, it all
Yeah.
got taken from me.
Well,
but-
they're targeting people, and these are people who are providing medicine to people. I think that
but
over time.
You know what? The Sweet Jane sodas are actually a tincture. I did my research through the city, and they're actually a tincture. So I
Oh,
can
the
still-
city of Vancouver.
Yes.
So yeah, because with the new part of the regulations, they say if it's a
Sorry to
tincture.
bring this up, it's-
the reason they got a problem with edibles is because it's good medicine. That's the reason they got a problem with it all, because it
Yes.
works. Pharmaceuticals companies don't want that shit. They don't want a drug that works, because that's how a drug dealer makes their money on the comeback.
Yeah, and that's why they support Sam and these other groups.
It just
Well, those
made me
people need help.
so upset. But now I can introduce my Sweet Jane sodas back into the industry.
Right.
And we're
So
still-
there's loopholes in some of these rules. So
Yeah,
in the
because it's
Vancouver.
technically
There's a huge loophole in all the rules.
Cool. Yeah, exactly.
what?
So for those edible producers in Vancouver who thought they were completely banned, there is a loophole. If you're a tincture or if it's something like that, you can get around it. Well, thank you for letting us know that.
So yeah, it's interesting. As a tincture, and this is how do they classify that as an extraction? So I'd like to look a little bit more in on that, definitely, and find out more information on that. It's good knowledge.
Now
right?
we're gonna
So
do after
finding
Matt
ways-
comes up, we're gonna do a whole thing on extracts with
Yeah,
Johnny
we'll
B
talk
and
about
Ryan
here.
Mailman.
Talk about
Yeah,
extracts.
We're gonna
and-
talk
there's a
about-
bunch
and
of
there's a lot of
demos.
things
We
we
didn't
can
mention the
still
demos
do.
this weekend.
Yeah, the
John's
demos.
John's doing rosin demos,
No, I'm
and
doing
we're
this.
doing
No,
a bubble.
Stu.
Yeah, we're gonna do a bubble hash demo.
Stu is doing demos on hash, and they're talking about doing the rosin, and I'm going to be helping out with them.
Very nice.
And if you guys are floating around and see the Prairie Cup bikini girls, get a picture with them, please. Thank you,
Bikini
ladies,
girls.
for
Oh,
coming
geez.
out from
there they are.
Pink Champagne. I appreciate that
Champagne.
in
What's
the
up,
house.
ladies?
Got to have
Nice.
bikini girls. No
Well,
cup.
it wouldn't be a Cupper
Cup-
Expo without them, really.
That's right. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, so Jeff, I think what we should probably do now is
I
these
see
torches.
torches.
Torches. So that's the
We
other
see
thing. We have
torches.
glass blowers in
I'm
the house.
sorry, I never mentioned this because the glass blowers are amazing. Like, we got Gibson glass, Redbeard glass, and Shine glass in the house.
Yeah.
And
Hey,
they are
Megan,
doing the Great Canadian Glass Collab Off this weekend.
There we
So
go.
they're going to be working together to make one piece that we're going to auction off. Probably Redbeard handles all that auction.
Really?
We're going to auction that off down the road, and we're going to donate that money somewhere, most likely to Glenn. I'm helping Glenn, man. I want to help that guy out. Like, I mean, it's insane what he went through. Like,
Well,
Megan,
look,
give us a
here's
crowd shot
the
for a
first
sec.
start of that. There you go.
how's everybody feeling?
Good start. Yeah.
Are you well medicated? All right, Freddie's doing it right.
Yeah,
Freddie's
Freddie's over
always
there.
well
The
medicated.
one-man smoke show. I love that. He is. And dude,
The weed
did
king.
you sniff Keef? You know I watched that. I don't watch
It
a lot of
burns.
your stuff,
I can
Freddie.
just tell
but,
you right now, it burns so
but
bad.
you are a madman for putting Keef in your nostrils and sniffing it like a. Yeah.
Don't ever put it in your
why?
eye, though, eh?
Yeah, there's
You
a
could
video
have
of
slacked
that.
it under your armpit. Probably would have been way more effective. You should show a video on that. The armpit. Have you
Yeah,
done
there
that
you
one,
go.
Freddie?
The armpit? You got any suppositories there?
He's gonna start getting cannabis patches. Throw them up under there all day.
New ways to consume. Wow.
If you
So-
guys have never watched, though, the One
Jared,
Man
I think
Smoke
you
Show,
need a
Freddie pretty
dab.
much covers everything. So
Yeah, Dweed
You
King,
need
he's
a
got
dab.
videos on YouTube, and we put them on Pot TV, and we'll spread those around, man. Freddie's got some dope videos. He's at every single rally covering this stuff.
he
So
does. He
is
came all the
it
way to Saskatchewan twice now, so that says a lot.
YouTube.com/Freddie Pritchard. Is that the one? Yeah, that's the one.
Right on.
Yeah. And just a note about Redbeard, who's out there. Redbeard's going to be doing the Redbeard show, our Pot TV show, tomorrow.
Tomorrow is the Redbeard show.
In his regular time
five,
slot.
At 5 o'clock, so the BC people will be tuning in at 4.
4, that's right.
Yeah,
Regular
sorry
slot.
about the hour time difference. We are in the middle of the province, or the country.
Yeah, and so any regular viewers tuning into CCN now that are after the 4 o'clock mark will
Well, they
have,
already missed half the show.
Nah, they missed it, but
That's
they're in
okay.
now.
They
Jared,
should
have
been
you done a
watching,
dab yet?
following.
I haven't had a
Yeah,
dab
get
yet.
over here.
I'd love a dab.
Get
What are
over
we
here.
smoking on, Johnny? Tell us while I'm doing
Tell
this.
us, John.
Okay, pretty much this is some Medikush bubble, of course, fresh frozen, dipped in a little bit of what we call some Horatio.
Oh.
And 640 degrees. And
So-
it's beautifully melts. And of course, solventless, and that's what it's all about. And I'm very, very happy to see you have a couple solventless in this year's running. I couldn't enter. I just, I don't have the amounts you're looking for, but
John's won my cup before.
yes, I have. I did in 2012.
Yes, beautiful cup. I saw
a
your
bit-
post of the picture.
It
Brought back
was,
some memories.
It brought back some memories. It was really nice to be able to actually
And
enter.
you just
and
won
offer
something
it.
else recently, too.
We did a collab, me and
Oh,
Rebo,
the
and that
Concentrate
had to
Open.
do with the Canadian Concentrate Open that Tim was holding, and that was 6 months of competition. And at the end of it, there was 2 solventless extractions, and one live resin came in second
How many
for the win.
How many events through the 6 months were there?
Tim,
Tim.
I think there would be 6 events.
How many events through the 6 months did you do for the Concentrate Opens? How many of them? 7.
So
I was
there's-
at 2.
Yeah.
There was 7, and
They were awesome.
Yeah.
I actually only went to 1.
Yeah, and they did it live from the glass gathering as well.
Yeah,
We were
that's
there.
when I was at one before
Right.
that.
Watched
Which
that
is
one.
First got started.
Redbeard's big shindig,
The-
which was totally awesome this year.
That's
the glass
right,
gathering.
the Great Canadian Glass Gathering. If you haven't been up to Birkin before, you're missing out on a great event. Redbeard does that every year. Is it going to stay that same weekend in June now, Redbeard? Or yeah, so it's the last weekend in June up in Birkin. If you don't know where that is, you got to go to Whistler and then keep on going till you hit a town called Pemberton, and then you got to keep on going till you hit the township of Birkin, and then you just follow the signs. It's a bit of a drive. Ask Neil, he knows.
It's fun, though. It's nice up there on the ranch.
I
It's
think
beautiful.
Neil
Hey,
drives to every event.
Neil calls me last night. He says,
Neil.
it's quite a drive, Jeffrey, to your home. And I said, I know, Neil. I drive it every year, sometimes twice.
Yeah, that was the long haul. Neil by himself this year, actually.
You can do it.
He was lonely.
You can
lonely
do it in a
drive, but-
weekend, Friday, home Sunday, with 20 pounds in the trunk.
Oh, have you?
I didn't say that.
Done a few of those, have you?
Never.
You mean, you know of people who used to be able
I
to
know people that
talk
have done
about
that.
things that happened back in
Just
the
like that.
days that, you know, as those wild
I heard
teenage-
rumors that could happen.
Well,
all the ones
I
looking
really
at-
think we should start getting into how we're gonna. Like, I haven't seen the pack yet. I want to break that down for the people on Pod
So,
TV as well afterwards.
Are we
We're gonna get
We're
Murnaugh.
gonna get the cannabis
So
champ.
where is the cannabis champion? Is he around
Has
here?
anybody
somewhere?
seen Matt Myrna, the cannabis champ?
Paging the cannabis champion of the universe?
Oh, he's
here he
over in the
is.
corner getting high.
I
You'd
can-
think you'd be able to see him with all that sparkle
I
on.
can see. I saw the
With all
sparkle
that bling
out of the
on
corner
over
of
there.
my eye. You know, I didn't ask you about this. One thing that we did last time was that giant vapor bag, but I didn't.
We
think
do
were-
have the 30-foot
we
volcano
do.
bag. Do you guys want to smoke
We
the
have
30-foot
the 30-foot
volcano bag this
volcano
weekend?
bag.
Okay,
I think
we'll
it should
probably
be-
get that
I'm impressed.
happening
Jeff,
tomorrow.
42 feet, come on.
40, it's not. It's 30.
You got to do 42 feet.
42.
How the hell am I going to do 42?
I'm just fucking.
They only come in 10-foot rolls.
Every
Do they?
year it's got to get bigger.
Okay, so yeah,
It's a big one, though.
if we don't do it tonight, because I don't actually know where the fucking thing is, I think it's in my garage still at home. So if we don't have it here, I'll bring it tomorrow. We'll do the 30-foot volcano bag. We're gonna get crazy. It still says PMHC like 2013 or something.
Isn't nice?
Yeah,
That's all good.
That's
It's
the last
retro
time I
bag,
hated
retro
that.
bag.
Yeah. I had
Cool,
to glue-
man. Well, Jeff, this is an amazing thing you put together here. I have
you.
the best time of my life when I'm here every time, man. I love it. It's my favorite cup, hands down. And like,
Well, I want to say thank you personally for you guys always coming, and you've always supported me. Remember the first year you were like, I'm going to have a Prairie Cup in Saskatchewan. You're like, we got to do an interview for that. And, you know, treating yourself. You
2011.
sat down. We did a little interview. Well, it's a little more.
I remember, man.
Yeah, man.
I
I'll-
totally
you know,
remember.
honestly,
You're one
if-
of my closest cannabis friends, man. And
If you guys don't know, Jeremiah has always stood behind me since I got started in this. He's supported me. He said, holy fuck, you guys got to meet this guy from Saskatoon. You got to smoke with him. He's like, we got to do his videos. We got to go support him. He's always been there for me. So if you guys don't know, this man's a dear friend. Please give him a hug
I'm here for
because he
it, man.
loves hugs. And he comes out, and he's
I
been
do love
coming out.
hugs.
I'm going to keep paying for his flight so he can't say no. But but thank you, Jeremiah. And thank you, John. Thank you, everybody. And I'm going to let Matt Myrna come up and school you guys on how to judge this event. And I'm going to go get high for my birthday.
Yeah, man.
So if you guys want to come get high with me,
Happy birthday, Jeff.
I'm going to be over the Beard Brothers booth doing 38 dabs in a fucking row.
Awesome, man. All right.
Have fun!
Big hand for Jeff.
Love you guys.
All right.
Thank you.
And the cannabis
nice.
champion.
There we
Oh,
go.
look at that outfit.
Well, he's always got an outfit.
Oh, baby.
There you
now,
go.
Matt, I don't
Is
know
that
if
a
you
new
want to.
one?
Do you want to sit? You probably want to do your thing. You walk around and do your. Do you want to stand? Yeah, do your thing. And well, then we'll come back afterwards and get you high and talk
All
to you.
right, I'll stand for a minute.
Okay, cool.
Oh, man. Like some of you guys have already filled up a couple vapor bags, right? Okay. I hate to break it to you because it was like right at 420 and stuff. We're going to have to stop a little bit of the pot smoking to make sure that we're doing the judging part right. How many people were here last year? How many people were here the year before? Oh, okay, so we got to like judge some cannabis, and it's pretty awesome to do. Now, let me see here. Oh, how's it going? All right. The best part is that it is voting, so you're voting for the best strains in indica, sativa, and hybrid for your flower. And it's really important that you fill out your ballot and drop it off before Sunday afternoon. Like the Prairie Medicinal Harvest Cup, and I've been to a bunch of cups, they take their judging very seriously because the people here want to win, and they feel like, hey, all the people that showed up and sampled the weed, they chose them. So it's an awesome, you got a pen in your kit bag to do this. Believe it or not, we get about 65, 75% return last year, I think it was. It was actually a really good number. We'd like to get it about 85% this year. But the issue is people like Jeremiah over there, every year they're like, I'm going to judge everything. I'm going to get it done. And it never gets done. Don't, you can comment later on your show.
Don't be like me. Get your bag done.
Right. So the rest of you have an opportunity. Jeremiah's running around getting the cameras and the stream. The rest of you just get to kick back here and smoke pot. We got a bit of work to do in keeping you all entertained and in judging the cannabis. So you have your indica, sativa, hybrid in your categories. They're red, blue, and green. Okay. So, here we go. Let's just run through this now. On indica, you have, holy jeez, you got up to F to sample. A, B, C, D, E, and F. Okay, then. First suggestion on the sampling part will be to do like an indica, sativa, a hybrid, and repeat. Because the indica is going to bring your high down and slow you down a bit. The sativa is going to prop you up a bit. And the hybrid should do something in between. So that's how you can cycle yourself through this. If you just smoke all your indica tonight, you're going to be back there on the couch just glued to it. So it's an important thing to cycle yourself through the sampling of cannabis. I know, I'm a professional. I've written a book on this subject. Okay, so on the top lid of the indica that you pull out, now some of the things, you pull it out of your sample kit. On the lid is a letter, such as A, red A. You're going to inspect it for visual appeal. You're going to take a look at it, and you're going to be like, does this look good? No, that guy's got it. Take a look at it. Do this mindfully. You got time. Look at your weed. Smell your weed. Enjoy your weed. Because aroma, taste, the smokability, the effects, and your overall satisfaction. Okay, so this is like your judging card at the top, right? So this will help you on Sunday come up with your final answers of first, second, and third in each category. So up here, this are your notes. Down here's your final score. Pretty simple, right? Anybody not following? I know it's a little weird. I smoked a couple big vapor bags before going up. So that's what we have here for your judges kit. It's quite simple. It's a great way to enjoy cannabis and take your strains out, sample them, break them up, and vaporize them. Enjoy yourselves. So that's the key there. Now, they got this new category called concentrates. Here we go here. All right. So we have two concentrate categories, solvent and solventless. So you got your, visual appeal, your aroma, taste, smokability, medicinal effects, and overall satisfaction. And again, you get your end score, where you put your favorite 1 through 3. Pretty simple. That said, you can see up here, they're setting up the cups and all this over here. They've spent hours upon hours blowing these glass. They spent, lots and lots of money, like the Boss Vapor Company has donated stuff to put in these prize packs. It's very important, then, that you guys judge cannabis so that the authentic winner of this weekend's event, the Prairie Medicinal Harvest Cup here in Saskatoon, goes home with the cup. You guys, you're enthusiasts. You're excited about this, but at the end of the day, it's most important to the grower, the guy who's given the weed for you to sample, to take that home. It's like the Stanley Cup, the World Series trophy, that CFL thing that we have. It's any of that stuff. That's to the grower. So it's important. I can't stress this enough to you guys. It's so important to fill out your judges form. Make sure we get it in by Sunday, so I'm down there with Jeff and we're counting up the votes. Make sure you fill this out, because the guy who wins that believes that you voted for him.
And it's the Grey Cup, by the way.
It's the Grey Cup.
That CFL thing.
The green cup. So this is the green cup.
This is the green cup.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Just same thing.
Same thing.
Just with no footballs.
Right.
Just with fatties.
With buds.
That's right.
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 Perfect. I love
Perfect.
that, by the way. It looks great.
Thank you.
Looks good.
A local girl made this for me.
Oh.
After she got out of jail, this is what she does to make money instead of crime.
Nice.
Yeah, so I help support her. I'm all about stopping crime.
All right, so I think that I can't stress it enough. We had a great turnout last year in the voting, right? It was really good. 60%. So more people voted in the Prairie Medicinal Harvest Cup than voted in the last federal election. So that's pretty cool. That was a good turnout. 60%. It's a good turnout. It really is. And we're definitely not corrupt. Nobody's paying you off, okay? Nobody's paying to win this, unlike some competitions run by High Times Magazine. This is authentic. This is the people of Saskatoon's decision. This is what the enthusiasts of Saskatoon are all about. And the growers, I assure you, really want to take that home and put it on home at their mantle. All right? They're going to drink from it. They're going to celebrate it. It's personal pride for a grower to win one of these. So I can't stress once again the idea that you're out here today just judging cannabis while we up here do a show for you all right? So have a good day. Thank you very much. Please, 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 I can't stress enough, get your voting thing in by Sunday. Get your voting ballot card in on Sunday, and we'll be all happy. Thanks again. See my buddy Redbeard blow glass. You can do all kinds of stuff while you smoke pot. Like, fucking the glass guys are cool because it's fire. Redbeard, it's like you fire that thing up, it's like fire, and you can all just guys sit here and look, he's just got fire. It's fucking fire, man. Fire. Fire, 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 yes. So, Finger 11's here next week if you want to see more fire here in Saskatoon. Let's bring Jeremiah back out for his show.
Yeah, don't go anywhere, Matt, because we're going to... Hey, Megan, I'm going to get you...
Well, I got a
put
vapor...
us back
Notice how John B. jumped out of the way?
Johnny,
he better come back.
He's coming back, too.
All right, good.
I wanted to talk to you, Matt, about...
Did I get the voting? Did I explain that enough?
I think you did.
I worry that people... Like, you know how much weeds... Have you gone through my kit yet? Look at all the fucking weed in there.
I haven't gone through yours. I just grabbed it. Oh, the kit at all. No, yeah.
Here's my kit. Here we go. Look
No,
at all
I
that.
have not had
Look
the
at all
chance.
that weed you guys got to smoke this weekend. Look at that. Holy Jesus.
Yeah. It's hard for me to get through it all. I always fail, unfortunately.
Yes.
I do my best, but we just never get right to the end. We're very close every time, but... Yeah,
This year you can do it.
Yes, I have a lot of help here this year, so... But Matt, I wanted to talk to you about some of the stuff going on with you.
Okay, hold on a second. I want to talk to you
we
and
have
say
our
thanks
sponsors.
to the Boss Vape Company. Thanks, guys, for being here.
Boss Vape, yeah.
And our friends at Subliminator.
Yes, we do have to note our sponsors. It's great
Dude,
that
they
so many
pay to
people...
get me here. That's
Yeah,
without their money,
that's
I'm
the
not
only-
here.
We wouldn't have this, nothing without them, so... So, Matt, Toronto, you're one of the only ones here from Toronto. Are you the only one from Toronto?
I'm the only Torontoker here to this weekend.
Yeah.
Are you from Toronto? All right.
We have a man from Toronto. We got
Couple
a couple Toronto
Toronto.
people.
Okay.
Nice.
I felt like I was like really like coming into. I'm like everybody's from.
Let's do a test here. How many people are here from Vancouver?
How many Vancouver people?
Woo! All right. Well, how many people are here from Saskatoon then?
Yeah.
Yeah. How
Yeah.
many people here from Nova Scotia? Yeah.
Oh!
Woo! That was just.
I bet you there's
strong
people here from Regina
start. We got any people here from Calgary?
and Calgarians.
We got some Calgary here.
Nice.
Man, people here from all
How
across
about
Canada.
Quebec? We got any Quebecers in the house?
Is it all
Well,
Canadian?
Enrico,
Quebecers,
he
so?
would be here.
Yeah.
So
Any Americans? Is it all Canadians?
Americans.
We have had some Americans in the past.
Any Europeans?
Europeans. Anybody from Zimbabwe?
No.
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 Anybody
so-
from outer space?
So, Matt, you and I...
So in terms of the Toronto answer, we were hoping to bring more. Chris Goodwin has his kids
Tracy
this weekend.
and others had been here every year, like,
3 years.
Yeah, so hi to Toronto people if they're watching at home at Vapor Central, possibly.
Yeah.
Vapor Central, and Pod TV both been under attack recently on our websites.
Yeah, we have a denial of service attack.
Yeah.
It's pretty sophisticated.
It is sophisticated.
Pretty sophisticated bullshit.
It is. And so, Matt, you do a show which is posted on Pod TV, broadcast on the Vapor Central live stream feed, the Marijuana Zone.
That's right. We just
TNC.
finished episode 223. That's 223 weeks in a row.
That's a hell of a lot of episodes.
That's a hell of a lot of that's dedication. Congratulations.
It's that's my Tuesday for the last couple of years.
Huge dedication.
And the show's great. You guys put together a lot. You have a lot of interviews with interesting people on it. Chris Goodwin, your producer, great producer. You guys just totally fixed the Vapor Lounge.
Well, I guess, yeah, we'll talk on the Goodwin side of things. Like, the production of our show is really great. The Skype and the technology and our sound equipment and just having a studio of a stage in a Vapor Lounge is just...
It's nice having it all set in there and everything.
And it's shocking the number of requests that I would say, other than politicians, Jerry, almost everyone comes on the show. Like, everyone that we ask to come on and it's... I'm shocked that, Mason Tavert came on the show.
Even Pam McCall came on.
That, people have, it's interesting. It's like, when you do these things, you just know your ratings go right through the roof. There's two things for ratings lately, and that was Pam McCall and a raid. And it's crazy how people will turn in for two things. They'll tune in if you're raid in progress. You know the ratings on Pod TV just jump. Everybody wants to watch that guy come out in handcuffs, right? And it's such a that. So yeah, we interviewed. It was odd, to say the least. It was not even what originally they approached me, because it's a Goodwin Myrna show. Chris is like, I want you to interview her, and we were like, I don't know, I just don't want to do it. I was really leery of having to talk to her. And ultimately, we were just like, well, it's good for the viewership. It's definitely good for viewership.
You guys kind of ambushed her, I would say.
We pranked her hard.
Yeah.
It was good old-fashioned radio morning show pranking someone hard. I grew up in a time when your morning show host would be like, hey, let's just dial the White House and see who picks up the phone. A lot of that I grew up on. Of let's just let the fingers do the calling and let's see who picks up the phone. And we do a lot of that. We're probably going to do Bill Blair next. We're just going to call him.
You guys do just cold call people. You just get them on, phone them directly while they're on the air. And yeah, that's hilarious, man. That's some hilarious segments you guys put together.
Those are things that we try and do. The McCall thing came about in a fashion in which Chris was approached, and I was like, all right. And even before we went on, I was just like, all right, just so you know, when this goes bad, I'm blaming you for everything. And he was like, yeah, when this goes bad, I'm just going to blame you. And I'm like, all right, as long as we know as co-accused, we're going to blame each other as our defense, I'm good with this.
It's easier to take the pain that way.
It was weird, man. You would have thought, she would have thought, my fake English accent right out of the gate would have tipped her. We started out with a couple, we just kept throwing her some questions. And quite serious questions.
She thought you were pro or anti-marijuana.
Yeah, she thought we were an anti-marijuana webcast. We were not. But the questions were, I threw her, a lot of people can say that I actually just softball questions to a lot of our guests, and it's simply we want to see and hear what you got to say. I hope you're an entertaining guest. So I try and think of really creative questions, and we asked her if you look at Pam McCall and the people who are speaking about prohibition, they're boring as fuck. No offense, they're boring. And we asked her out of the gate. I'm like, well, with Snoop Dogg and the Trailer Park Boys, how do you compete against that? So if you watch the interview, it just keeps well, how do you think she goes on and says that we're creative geniuses, by the way. That is now in our marketing packages. Pam McCall.
An endorsement from Pam McCall.
Well, she says that the marijuana movement is creative, are creative geniuses. And if you listen to her, though, and this is what I don't like about people you can't, I guess they're science deniers. and you could. Okay, I'm going to go with this story. This is how I'm going to explain the whole Pam McCall thing. In 1 year, I'm going to have to do a dab after. In 1 year, how many children do you think were maimed and injured by a flat screen TV?
I saw you writing about this.
8,000 children a year. If you really want to save the kids,
that's insane.
We should prohibit flat screen TVs.
Yeah. Well,
and as someone
not
who's
just
concerned
TVs.
about children, I have a very deep concern for children. I think we should just ban flat screen TVs. The number of kids getting maimed and injured is astronomical. Like it's crazy.
Well, what about people slipping in the bathtub or cars crashing? I mean, everything we do hurts us in some way.
But you can't reason with. You're just there for dabs, man. You're not there for talking. Your role is not to fucking talk.
You have to leave the switch on.
Okay,
It just takes a second to turn on.
I mean, doing dab after dab here, so...
Right, just don't talk. Just do dabs and hand out
I'm
dabs.
fine.
We can replace
I'm
you
on
with a
vacation.
chick, really.
John's the dab fairy.
Yeah, he is. Where's your wing?
He asked us to call him that.
So we we kept going with the questions. Like, you're never going to reason with her. Never in a million. She's not. But at the same time, she demonstrates that Canadian media were just looking for one person who will speak out against pot, regardless of how wing-dingy they are. And they found her in Pam.
That's because nobody will, so they're
Right.
always thirsty. Whenever the media calls me, and they're looking for pro-pot people, they're looking for anti-pot people as well. And they're saying, hey, do you know anybody who would like to speak against this issue or anything? Because we can't find anybody. They say that a lot.
Yeah, and now they have with Pam McCall. They haven't. Nobody
now
was
they-
up until the SAM group were speaking out. Even Mothers Against Drunk Driving are like, yeah, we don't drink, but we probably smoke a lot of fucking weed.
Yeah, everybody. And the only other person they can like tote out to do it is Patrick Kennedy or David Frum was the other idiot.
Right, so they can't find people to speak out against us, and Pam you can't reason with. And she said a few things in the interviews as we go further into marketing. I mean, I actually called Tom Mulclair a commie in it. So if you go through it, you can just see it's getting crazier and crazier. And then I hit her with, you think we were softballing a lot of questions and we warmed her up. And I actually said, do you believe in taking away children who are parents are using medical marijuana on, the epileptic children like Liam, like some of the other children? We've had a mother on my webcast recently who does that with a child. And her answer, and it's still upset, she said she would. At that point, when we got into this whole mess, I told Goodwin, at some point I'm going to dress Talkie Gooner. We said that before the interview even started. I said, I'm just going to tie Domir. I'm going to catch her coming out with her head down in the red zone, and I'm just going to keep going. And man, she said, I lost it as a guy who has a seizure. I don't like watching those kids having seizures, and you have no business. One thing going in media and looking stupid, but she's dangerous in that she wants to take away children. She can do that. She can call Children's Aid Society. She's dangerous because she calls on compassion clubs. She calls the cops on them.
That's the thing that surprises me so much is she's very effective by just doing the grunt work. By just putting in a few phone calls to the police departments of local areas, she has these places shut down. And that's something that alarms me about the dispensaries in Vancouver as well. All of the dispensaries in Vancouver that have had raids on them or police show up, it's all based on complaints from neighbors.
Right.
Virtually across the board.
Yep.
So, there's got to be... what happened actually with, just while we're talking about Pam, the Vancouver City Council, or who was it now? The police board or somebody, decided not to take her complaints anymore or to take them seriously, and they had a formal hearing on it.
So it's just...
I think people are getting wise to the one-woman show,
But, check out that a lot of people watched that video. It was... And it's unfortunate. If you watch the one, most people everybody talks about it. I'm like, fuck, we had Mason Tavert from Colorado on, the guy who made marijuana legal there. Nobody talked about him being on the show talking about how they want to bring vape. Wait for it. Weed's legal in Denver. You can fucking buy it. You can't smoke it like you can here in Saskatoon.
Controversy is popular.
So it's unfortunate in a way that controversy is popular, but we do know what we're doing, and we do play on it, and it works. Especially, we got a lounge full of people.
I wanted to get into, because, Matt, you actually received some of your medicine from one of the LPs.
For sure.
You've done work on this issue. You've had some of the LP spokespeople on your show, and you've talked to them and things like that.
They're like the second most popular interviews.
Well, because Canadians, patients want to know where they're going to get their medicine, and they're interested to find out about these LPs. Where do you get your medicine from? And tell us about the process and everything for you, how it's been.
Okay, so we should go through a few things. I get marijuana from Peace Naturals. It's supplied by them. It's $7.50 a gram. I got the receipt there where they just sent me 100 grams in the mail.
Are they, in the interest of journalistic disclosure, are they hooking you up?
Yeah, I'm just saying that now. But in the past, they didn't. And we haven't had them on the show since. Where it's just like, I'm a member, I'm buying it from you. And now they're just like, I shut down a grow. I'm not doing anything illegal now.
Right.
So I'm trying to.
Unfortunately, you were so good at it.
I'm not doing the illegal stuff. My mom is just getting older, and I've gone through enough. So Peace Naturals stepped in and was like, hey, look, we know what you can help. That said, we've had like a lot. We have Med Relief coming on our show on October 19th. I'm going in on October 19th to film it. It'll be on the 20th. And so they've been on. Tweed, Chuck Rafisi's been in person. And my goal when opening these interviews is trying to tell them, it's like we've had Tilray, is to open a line of communication with them, and hopefully we can keep coming back to them and questioning them. When Peace Naturals had a recall, and we had them on the show, and when Tilray had the recall, we went back to Tilray, and they're like, well, we don't want to come on your show and talk about it. And we said, well, we think you should. And that was the answer there, and so be it.
They didn't end up coming back on?
They did not come back on for that. Organigram has invited me to come out and view their facilities. So it's interesting, I get to see all these other companies, even though the one company does help me with my meds. That doesn't resolve a lot of the issues of growing your own, which I still fully support. But I think, to be clear, we talked about this a lot. And before, when the MMPR was coming out, you thought it was going to be a good program.
Yeah, well, I didn't. Well, I wasn't sure exactly the way.
But you thought it looked good.
Well, I didn't like the fact that they were taking away home grows.
Right. We drew the line on that. Everyone said we would always draw the line on home grows. The issue would be the rest is pretty fucking sweet.
I don't like the fact that it's prohibitively expensive in a lot of ways, but I do understand that you need to have certain things. You have to have security features and other things. And, if there's going to be regulations on it, it seems fair enough that those are the ones they do regulate.
Well, I figure at $7.50, it's still... I go into Toronto Compassion Center. I'm a member there since their day, and I still go in there to buy marijuana there. And they have stuff at $5 and $6 and $7.50, and I feel those are fair prices. Yep. I think the issue, other than growing it your own, I think we should be looking at our disability programs and provincially, and maybe striking there at some points. So these are things that I think people need to look at. But I think the MMPR as a whole, it is kind of something we would want in terms of legalization. I mean, they got companies like. A funny story about Tweed is Chuck Rafisi never made money selling pot.
How is that?
Well, Tweed hasn't
he sold the company. It's the company's shares that are making money, and the public, making it all right.
He's never made money. Tweed never has yet to turn a profit.
Not a dime.
Never made a dime of money selling weed. But he made a company that's...
Well, it's a testament to the fact, and I thought this before, that the idea is there, and it's going to be popular as hell. Tweed is just a representation of this, what could be.
Well, what ended up, I think when we were talking in the very early days, is I told you the bar by the prohibitionists was going to be set too high. And that's what they did. They made sure that only very, very few people got in. And the bar was set too high. And in fact, Rona Ambrose turned down 100 applicants. Imagine 100 more businesses in medical marijuana, what the prices would be like. Would Tilray be able to, have their prices? Well, probably not.
And there probably would be a lot more applicants if the system for selling it was different. Like the mail order stuff I don't like either. I like the idea of having a storefront location to sell at. But in Vancouver, for instance, I think they've had 170 applications for dispensaries submitted.
Right.
And so, there's a lot of people who want to do this. And when it comes to
well, man,
selling
business
weed,
is good.
But out of those 170, now they're saying they're only going to get out 20 licenses, right?
Yeah,
Right.
There's 170 applications, but they're only going to license 15 to 20, says the city councilors.
And that's not right.
Exactly. It's like a
and
monopoly.
what I think, now that you boys bring up this, Vancouver, you can't regulate prohibition. And I think it's wrong of the city of Vancouver, because I know we're on your show, it's even better. I think it's wrong of the city of Vancouver to use RV Myrna and the other court rulings to collect tax money on dispensaries. And you owe me a fucking cut. I'm sending my boy down to get it. Because these
we want
dispensaries...
30 G's a year, and we're also going to give you another licensing fee. Like
It's ridiculous. 30 fucking grand, you can open a titty bar.
Grand. It's like 30 grand going,
That's
okay, come up with
obscene.
$30,000, now where'd you get the money from?
Right. And it's not...
And how do they justify it when the most expensive license in the city is a hell of a lot less than that for somebody
Right.
who causes a lot more problems?
So we got to... I think the dispensary should boycott it completely. It's regulating prohibition. I think the city of Vancouver is using it as a wedge issue to get more federal funding for transit. But it's sparked debate. It's been great. I mean, even the city of Toronto, their board of public health guy is conducting their own study, not on dispensaries, but on the marijuana issue in Toronto. And my response to the city councillor that we know is, just tell them that we have an issue with it and that they should not enforce it anymore at the federal level, but don't do anything until marijuana becomes unenforceable at the federal level. Like, use your municipal strength as mayor to go back and demand meetings with the people in federal government and say, no, this law's not working. Make it, it's unenforceable. Don't fucking regulate prohibition.
What about Toronto and dispensaries? Now, there's obviously a few dispensaries in Toronto, but we haven't seen the same ballsy proliferation of them all over the place with big pot leaf neon signs and all this stuff. Why is there such a disconnect there?
It's interesting in that Toronto comes from the gay movement. The Toronto scene was very much built on the AIDS movement, which, if you look at the history of the gay movement in Toronto, up until, recently, the history of our community and the gay community is, similar. Bathhouse raids, police unfriendly towards, and you had to hide and be quite underground in your activity. Within the last year, we're seeing a lot different changes in certain places in Kensington Market, where Abbey Roach has had hotbox quite blazingly, and it's kind of a neat place to run dispensaries, and they put weed logos in, and they tell us, they get 100 people in there trying to buy weed every day, and it's not very helpful.
Right.
So.
But I wonder if that's coming sometime soon, though, where people will go out on the limb. Right now in Toronto as well, the dispensaries that are there are kind of behind.
Well, you're not going
doors.
out on a limb. By putting a logo in the window, you're not really going out on a limb. It's all a matter of whether your system of making sure that the person is ill and you're keeping undercover police out.
Well, and that's the hard part, is keeping those cops out of there. And in Toronto, it seems like you guys are a little bit more aggressive with your the police themselves seem often a little more aggressive sometimes. Although we did have our Cannabis Day thing, and they were quite aggressive in Vancouver to us. So
right. Oh, well, I think that's a misnomer. In a year, the Toronto Police bust about 33 grow ops, so that's about 3 a month. That's super low.
Yeah, that's not much at all.
You can smoke pot joints just about anywhere and not get stopped.
So Toronto cops are pretty cool when it comes to the weed thing.
Yeah, where it comes in is that people have just chosen to be that way, I guess that's just, as I say, they've chosen to operate in that way, which is kind of odd because Bill Blair is running for the Liberal Party. He's the former police chief. He supports legalization. And you look at the numbers where people think it's we can't put up a weed leaf like my friend Puff Dog has a vapor lounge in my hometown of St. Catharines. And I looked at the numbers that came out recently. Saskatoon, here we are. Number one place where you're going to get, if you have weed on you, the charges are going to be processed. In Puff Dog, St. Catherine's, 25%. It's even lower. Like, you look at it, you're like in the lowest percentage. And people are like, yeah, we support it. We just don't want it in our face.
Right. Now, what about your 420 event? Of course, every year in Vancouver, when we do our 420 and Cannabis Day, we have people openly selling marijuana at our kiosks all through the event in the crowd. There's like, at 420, we had over 300, I think, people set up openly selling cannabis. And that you guys are doing that this year, or you did it last year at 420, right?
Well, 420, we're going to announce on October 20th what we're up to. Because it's 6 months to Chris Goodwin and I's 10th anniversary smoking out Yonge and Dundas Square.
That's awesome.
And we've come a long way from them. Like, I remember the first year, we kind of crept into the square off the sidewalk and took like maybe 10% of it. And maybe had like a quarter on our for photos purposes. And last year I showed up with a 100-gram joint.
Yeah, exactly.
And the other thing is the city takes our money.
Yeah.
Jody
Emery. Hi, Jody.
We have a permit. So the city has like a permit for the stage. They give us the stage permit because we're a protest group. And at that point, we need a larger sound system.
And is that what you're permitted to make noise? Is that why it's
No. It comes with, the area is a private-public partnership. And it's a community stage, but it's neat because it's in the heart of Toronto downtown. They have huge events there, like North by Northeast.
It's like the New York Times Square thing in Toronto,
right.
Basically.
But it's neat because you can't, in Times Square, they don't have bands. They have, like, this year they had, like, the New Pornographers play, and they had, like, a kick-ass lineup every year. And this year they had, like, Death from Above and Flaming Lips. And you look at the stage and you're just like, you can't have Bon Jovi in your city, by the way. They didn't give him an outdoor permit.
Oh, really? Oh, they banned. Well, Vancouver probably has better tastes, you know.
Well,
just
but the thing is, with the permit's
Slippery
more of
when
like,
wet.
we're not an event, but we apply to be an event. And so by applying to be an event, we get all kinds of cool stuff. But the city councilor says, well, their event is free and has no value. In other words, Chris and I are trying, like, we don't make any money off of it.
Right.
So it has no value to us.
You're not selling tickets to it.
No. And so it's good for the community. She's like, it's a benefit to the community. So the city waives their fee, but we have to pay for a unionized guy that the city has already pre-contracted to put up banners, and that's like $1,000. But once he puts up one, he might as well put up 10. So it's quite fascinating how the city is, your city's way different, and our city is completely like, hey, how much money you got this year?
Well, things are changing, though, in Vancouver. As you know, last year at Cannabis Day, they really cracked down hard on us, and they've been not just cracking down on us, but anybody, like the groups that are having, like, the raves or those, like, groups where they get together and have the walks, you know, whatever the recent one they had. They actually had one on Commercial Drive that was a fuck the police or fuck the permits rally because of this. And so it's been causing a lot of controversy with us. All the bikers, they do their nude bike rides and stuff. They haven't been giving these people, they say everybody has to get a permit, and then they don't give the permits.
Right.
So they basically just want to shut everybody down.
No, Toronto gives us the permit and then takes all our money so we can, like, buy, like, a $10,000 sound system and just boom, because the square's so big and you need that type of sound. Or
if they were doing that in Vancouver, I'd be happy, but it's not, you know, unfortunately we have a city manager's office. I'm not even sure it's the city councilors or the mayor, but it's the city manager's office who doesn't really want us there anymore.
Right.
So they've been making our lives difficult. But we're going to be back at the Vancouver Art Gallery for 420 again this year.
Nice.
That's our goal, anyways, so far.
No, like I said, you do have, like I said, the Vancouver is different because you have this city management that is just shitty. And in Toronto, they're like, well, we could manage this square, or we could just find a private company to manage it for us. And that's what they went out and did. And it's way cooler. It's so much better.
Well, that's better. But yeah, you don't want those city officials in there trying to...
Well, they don't understand entertainment value. But the partnership allows the city to say, well, that's a community group. Those 420 guys, they're a community group. They don't need to pay you $4,000 for that permit. and the city steps in and does that for us. So it's a way different. And we saw that arrest, all that shenanigans happening in Vancouver. It's unfortunate your city just is like shitty when it comes to like.
Yeah, no, but I think that things will change as we continue to go. What they're seeing now is that they want to shut these dispensaries down. They say they're going to only allow 20%.
How are they going to stop right there? Who's stopping the dispensary? Who shut them? Who's particular?
That Carrie Jang is the counselor.
No, who particular will shut the
That's
dispensary?
That's what I mean. I don't
is
think
it going to be the
do
Vancouver Police Department kicking in the dispensary door?
They don't want to have
Wait,
anything to do with it.
Is that what they're going to do? Because that's
said.
a crime tax, is it not, John? Is that not a crime tax? Are you not saying your fucking thug is going to come collect money if you don't pay us for breaking the fucking federal law?
Yeah.
This is basically what they said. There was with the way they went about
Go
it.
get my funds,
They put
man.
out all these letters to these clubs. Some of them shut down. Some of them had deadlines. Some of them applied. Some of them put down. I don't even know, is there any of the clubs that paid $30,000? I have no idea.
There'll be some that do.
But
some
I mean, the
people
whole
trying to
thing
comply,
is the way the city's doing it is you pay $30,000, and then there's also another fee on top of this, like $35,000 a year.
35, yeah.
Right. So I mean, if you are going to be one of those 3 compassionate clubs that's going to pay $1,000 a month to jump through all of these, which I think if everybody did, $1,000 a year. Out of what? There's going to be 20 licensed.
They're just regulating
licensed
prohibition.
Dealers. They're licensed dealers. And so here's the whole thing.
And what gives them the right?
But they're sending their thug in to go get shut down the ones that don't comply. But the police aren't going in when they should be already. But if you don't pay the fee, then we'll send the police.
Well, we'll see how that goes.
But as it stands right now, Matt, is none of the clubs being shut down, and nobody's paid any money out of the 100 clubs that are in Vancouver, right?
Fucking crime tax.
They're still going. They're still open. They're still running every day. Some of them are expanding. I know guys that have opened up 2 more stores. In the meantime, that they're trying to regulate them, they just keep opening up more.
Yeah.
Well, it takes at least 6 months for them to, they say if you don't have a location that's suitable, you have 6 months to find one.
Things are going to go through. So, I mean, it's really going to be standing. We're going to be depending on who wins this election and how things are going to pan out in Vancouver, really, in reality. And we're going to get this push by Harper on October 9th with these stupid letters that they sent out.
So that's the next big date is October 9th, right?
Clubs, right?
That's their letters threat.
The spam thing. I don't know, man. I don't know nothing about it. Went to spam.
You don't know nothing about the letter?
It went to my spam.
It went to your spam.
Yeah, exactly. It was a letter that was sent through email.
I don't think it was an email, or was it? Was it a sent
It started
letter?
as an email, yeah.
Started as email.
And then there was doors,
and that's why nobody believed it at first. Everybody was like, "Is this
first
actually
time
even
a
from
cease and
Health
desist
Canada?"
was ever sent via email?
Well,
first time I looked into it, I was like,
She was just so mad typing
I'm
one
sure
up in Health
Dana
Canada.
will talk more about it maybe tomorrow,
Ambrose.
stuff like that, about what's happening with the system, what's going on. It'll be interesting to see what happens on October 9th. I always say it's a dangerous game.
We'll see what happens. The thing right now, as it stands, the Health Canada is threatening to send in the RCMP, but
On
the Vancouver
October 9th.
Police Department has said absolutely not. And the VPD has said, hey, if the RCMP was coming into Vancouver, we'd know about it first. So, and they don't think it's going to happen.
But the whole thing is this, there's only a few in Vancouver of the 13 across Canada that got the license, right? And the ones that are getting a license is what we're understanding. The ones that are getting a license, we're understanding, is geared towards mail orders and stuff like that. So that's more of a different jurisdiction that we're talking about now. It's not Vancouver; it's all across Canada, right?
Yeah.
So
We'll
take a
see.
better look. So see more stuff.
Lots going on that side of it. Well, and of course we have the election
Dangerous,
coming up,
and
Matt.
like I say,
October 19th. But speaking of, don't forget to get your ballot in on Sunday. So you're judging. I hope you guys are out there. I hope you're on Sativa now. Hopefully you're on like Sativa B. And that means you've gone through it once at least. So how many people have finished 2 strains now? Have sampled 2 strains? We got one over there?
We do.
One
At
over
least
there? One over there? All right, some people are doing good. Not that it's a race or anything.
There you go.
October
And
19th.
Did we
right.
find out the color coordination issue?
Yes, I told people red is indica, blue is sativa, and green is hybrid, and solvent and solventless are purple and orange.
Oh, cool. Oh, they did split them up that
got
way.
colors
Very
and
good.
everything on there.
And so the extracts, Matt, we're going to talk, we're going to bring Ryan Mailman up here. Me
Cool,
and
because
Johnny.
I hope we're here. When we talk extracts, I hope, we'd like to thank our platinum sponsors, the Beard Brothers. Thanks a lot. Where are the Beard Brothers at? They here?
They're in the back corner over there.
They're in the back corner over there? Good to see the Beard Brothers. All right, thank you.
There we go.
I'll be over there later. Look forward to this. They're part of the October 19th Marijuana Zone Election Night Special, 10:30 Eastern.
Right, I'll be there for that.
Will you now?
I'll be in Toronto for that.
I hear that.
Yeah, so that should be fun.
We're ready. We've been reading polling as we've been watching it come across Canada. We've been paying right attention on their show. Even though it looks like we have lots of fun and games, it's pretty serious underneath.
Right, you don't want to have too much fun or you'll be very angry.
We're keeping an eye on. Well, I think it's the idea is that it helps get out the satire gets out the angst of dealing with someone like Pam McCall, or even the angst. I have angst when I read a story that 8,000 TVs have fallen on children.
Yes.
It genuinely upsets me for some reason. I just what the.
When you compare those numbers, it's just like, wow, it's pretty amazing. To
And
think that
so they looked in Canada, 5 deaths. 5 deaths from that.
you don't hear any newspaper, you don't see the articles in the papers.
It was
see that on
buried
news.
in the back of the Globe and Mail. Should have been on the front page.
If it was marijuana, you'd better believe it would be.
Fucking right.
Yeah.
5 children
it'd be
dead
front
from
page of every
pot
single
over
one.
Pot, it'd be international news.
Yeah.
Right.
It'd be on every media coverage. It'd be all around the world.
8,000 children maimed and injured from cannabis.
What is with these people, the TVs, anyways, though? Are they like falling on
They
the
fall
kids?
on them because the
Jeez.
toddlers get up there and they're
Wanna
not
do
put on
something.
stands correctly and all that. You just gotta.
Gotta keep that
All
thing
right,
on
so
the whole
October
time.
19th, Marijuana Zone special. You probably got questions about that.
Well, I just wanted to, I was going to ask you about how your thoughts on the election were. Like, how do you think the cannabis debate is playing out in this election?
Well, I think we don't. If you go and look at our normal conference on Saturday, and I think if John Conroy came out, Alan Young, and Craig Jones, and Paul Lewin, myself, I think if you look at that, I think it shows what we roadmapped. And I'm going to stick with, how does it play out in terms, we haven't got a lot of media play in terms of cannabis, hasn't really, I know because I did the last election. I did this, R.V. Myrna struck down the law on the night of the leaders debate, and from that point on, I did media all the way through, every day, 3 or 4 outlets, and that's how media got on there.
I think the Trudeau thing has been the only thing they've really been latching on to.
But
when it
it's
comes
only
to-
through questions from the media.
Yeah.
I think Trudeau should be well played to come right out and announce a platform of pot and just be like, I know I've answered your questions in the media millions of times, but today for this press conference, here's the backgrounder on marijuana, and it goes up on their website under backgrounders. It's not there. Speaking of crank calling candidates, we used to call liberal candidates and ask them to look on their own website when they didn't know what the pot policy was, and we would go through the list, and it's not there.
They took it down.
Right.
Yeah, and that's the thing that kind of has been bothering me lately is that I think it's because of this neck-and-neck race, but even Justin has shied away from really going too far out on a limb for pot
But
now.
it's not, Alan Young, I trust deeply, and John Conroy, and they met. Alan Young met with Justin, he's like, listen, if nothing else offends you about the Liberal Party, vote for them. And I'm going to say the same thing. If nothing else offends you about them, vote for them. But there are a lot of people in marijuana who are members of the Green Party. The Green Party has way better platform of drug policy than anybody.
Yeah, for sure they do. Definitely.
And then there's what's going on in NDP land.
Right.
So,
Yeah, well, and it's true because, the Liberals have been doing some things that might offend some people. But in the end, I think for me, as a marijuana activist, when a federal leader of one of the major parties comes out and says he wants to legalize marijuana, he said right away in the last talk they gave, he said, somebody asked him the question, when do you want to do this? He said right away. So he's not, on that end, he's not shying away from it. If somebody says that, we have to support this guy or nobody's ever going to say it again. Nobody in the country's ever
but is he just saying it?
What's that?
The Liberal Party have a history of saying one thing and doing another. I mean, they were against the GS-fucking-D. They ran it. Oh, Matt, you know, he talks about pot on the campaign trail.
That's all of our governments. They're all.
It's true. They say
free trade.
Usually,
he
most
ran
of the
on
parties,
against free fucking trade and expanded it with Mexico.
We got NDP. We got to look what the NDP did back. All our parents remember what the NDP did to our country and stuff.
Yeah, the
like
NDP
that.
at one time said they wanted to legalize pot, or they really like Jack didn't say legalize.
He wanted to say, and I think the NDP now just say regulate. They want to regulate cannabis.
Regulate. Yeah,
and
I'm not so strong on Tom and his recent. He was like poking fun at Justin, saying, "Oh, you know about puffs of clouds, Justin," and things like that.
Well, I'd look at those things between everyone as just sort of petty.
It is petty.
And
that's what
even
I mean.
petty
He's
for
trying
a reason.
He's trying to score points
petty
off
from
it.
even though from marijuana movement people. I think it's just like really.
Yeah.
Oh well, he talks about marijuana. I mean, I got you on this. I prepared an answer to this. So in the next election, marijuana doesn't get legalized. Just for here.
Okay.
The Ku Klux Klan is the only party voting. Oh wait, the Third Reich, Adolf Hitler says marijuana ought to be legal.
I see your point. And so yes, if something doesn't offend you, yes. But I mean,
The KKK matter, saying pot should be legal.
now the thing when you're comparing though, to compare the current Liberal Party to those parties, I mean, I see your example, but I don't think it's very fair.
But I think no. My example is only to you, not to the Liberal Party.
Yes.
My example is to you.
No,
well,
I
Matt,
gotcha.
we gotta vote for the KKK. They
gotcha.
support legalization.
Yes. Well, as long as they're not threatening to,
Fuck, man.
racial.
What about my black friends? Right, and it's
somebody's
sort of like
somebody's going to take that clip and just cut that out, Matt, and then that'll be your endorsement for the KKK.
there you go. Right. They supported legal weed, man. We should support them.
Yes,
No, it's the KKK.
I see your point, but I
Not
hardly,
comparing.
I hardly think.
I'm making that point to you, though.
Yes.
That
But
it's-
I would say that even with the C51 stuff and the Liberals, I still think.
Oh, I'm not
that-
even there. That's just the tip. I'm
see-
talking like free trade, GST. I'm talking about a party that routinely, even Ontario recently ran on this very left-leaning platform to take out the NDP in a minority government, came to power and have introduced not just austerity, but they've also are selling off private assets that they never campaigned on.
They've traditionally been a party that says what people want to hear, and then they govern.
At
right
least
to that
Stephen Harper says,
center.
I'm going to fucking kick you in the nuts, son. All right, bro, it's on. I can deal with that.
At least we know we got coming to us, right? I
Right.
mean, it's like,
Yeah.
So again,
But don't vote for him though, despite anything.
huh?
I think one of my issues, I mean,
All of a sudden at the end he said he's going to legalize weed, and it'd be like, well, shh.
Yeah, exactly. We might hear that right
But-
before the election.
we had a chance. I think if you look at my normal presentation, Jared, we had a chance to join the Liberal Party 5 years ago when they said, "Hey, we're support legal pot." That's when marijuana people should have joined them to get the training necessary to be key players in campaigns, join their riding associations.
Well, actually, that's what did happen, and the reason that Justin has come forward on this issue is because of the groups behind the scenes that really put the plan together. You know, they voted on it. 70% of the members of the party voted to support full legalization,
Right.
including stores where you'll sell it and everything. That's in the policy paper.
Yep.
So, and those guys were working behind the scenes. There's some friends of ours, the ones who helped work on Jody's campaign and stuff. These guys are hardcore potheads, but they managed to do it through the back channels and then actually had it voted for at one of their big events, right? So it wasn't necessarily the leadership that even had anything to do with it.
Right,
in the first
so it
place.
was a groundswell, and to continue that, I think the marijuana movement should have joined them at that point. Hey, they just said that, and he's said that for years. These aren't new statements. I think it's odd that people are just now joining the Liberals and just, and my thing has always been you should be, active. The reason I support New Democrats and specifically my buddy Andrew Cash and the NDP won't be able to help him for the next 4 or 5 days. It's because he's my friend, and I go over my speeches when I only talk about NDP stuff. I talk strictly about here's my experience with this guy, who is a now writer. I'm a now writer, who I volunteered for in his first campaign, and he took out a Liberal who had the 4th worst attendance record of anybody in the House of Commons after Harper. After the 3 leaders, he had the worst record.
The leaders, they always
and
have
he
the
was
worst.
a backbencher who decided to get a doctorate. Like, how can I vote for a Liberal?
He had homework to do, man.
Right. Clearly.
So that's election stuff. But as you said, get out there to any party that is, even close to supporting us, and even the conservatives. Shit, if you're a conservative, join the party and then help them take the pot people, help the pot people
Scott
take
Reed over in Ottawa is quite
Dana
libertarian.
Larson's in the house, and Dana, longtime NDP member, but he was working on a project, Conservatives for Cannabis, and there's actually, a group put together where there are a few. Scott Reed, one of them.
Well,
Senator Nolan before was one of them.
So these are, my suggestion was, of course, to join parties and get involved. My personal experience within the NDP has been very positive, including using marijuana at the last convention in the quiet room, and I've made more friends that way. And you can hear my normal presentation where I talk about Andrew Cash, where he's like, spoke out for 15 minutes on mandatory mints. 15 minutes. I'm like, I know that dude. I helped that guy get elected to do that because the last guy was busy doing homework. And you feel like kind of a cool connection.
Well, that's the other thing, too, is when you do get in and help these guys, the local, not just the party itself, but in your riding, go and talk to the person who's running and help them get educated on this issue, because they probably don't know.
I don't even right now is not the time to do any education.
Not now,
right now it's like, hey, I'm coming in to volunteer in your phone bank because you speak well about pot.
But you were working with the party for a long time. That wins you points. When you go in there and help those guys and you're going door knocking, they're a hell of a lot likelier to listen to your opinion afterwards.
They don't even need to listen to your opinion, I think, because what ends up happening now is Andrew Cash, my MP, he just calls. He's like, hey, Matt, I know I read this. Can you like when LPs came in, he's like, what do you mean people can't afford marijuana? What do you mean it privatized? Like, you got to walk me through all this. Like, these guys see if you imagine the stuff that goes on in everyday worlds and their own constituency concerns, and by volunteering now, you get in there and you get on their good books, you get a Christmas card every year.
I call it personal lobbying.
Right.
The way that these groups pay all this money to have guys schmooze these people, take them out for dinner and do all these lobbying efforts. Personal lobbying. Make friends with your politicians.
By volunteering.
Call them up and be like, hey, man, I got this. I wanted to send you this thing.
Volunteer for them now. That's what my big thing there is. And I think my final point on this election, and I talked to Normal Canada. In Normal Canada, Conroy, Young, and Lewin are working on what's called the Election Project. And we want people to go to the Normal website and sign up their email list with their postal code.
Normal Canada, normal.ca.
Yes. So that we can get out the vote. So that they can get out the vote. And I think that's been a bit of a failure for the marijuana movement, in that we don't have a database to say to potential candidates that are saying good things about pot, i.e. liberals. We can't say to them, we got 500 votes for you because you said great things about weed, and we know that because we got an email list, and in your specific neighborhood, there's 500 votes here, and we can guarantee you that.
Yeah, no, that's very true. And actually, we do have, we've started to do some of that stuff. Even with Cannabis Culture, we have like a nationbuilder.cannabisculture.com account where you can go and sign up. Megan, is everything all looking okay over there?
He's probably
Johnny has
himself.
been silent. Johnny, our dab monkey, has been...
What do you think of a what do you think, John?
What, the whole election thing?
Right, what do you think of the election thing?
Johnny told me he's not voting.
No, of course I'm voting. It's the first thing I'm going
You're not
to do is
voting?
vote. But I mean...
try one of these dabs first?
The election is... Of course, they're making marijuana money the biggest platform this year, right? And that's where the NDP are coming in with the decriminalization, where it's going to put on tons of fines and actually benefit a different way. Where Trudeau's coming with full legalization, but now he's backing on the way he wants to see the legalization platform and stuff like that. With Harper, with his whole thing with licensed producers, and then the way he's gearing up. I mean, it's a big topic. It's one of the biggest topics of basically the world right now. It's happening in every country. So
our people have to get out and vote. That's
basically what's happening right now is people by numbers change governments, and it's get out and vote, and we'll see exactly where we lie by numbers at that point. Because if we all get out and do our job and vote, then we're really going to truly see what our country is doing for ourselves. And hey, you know what? I think this is the year we're going to see change, and I really hope people get behind it. I mean, for me, it's a hard thing, right? So depending on what riding you're in, I live in a conservative riding. There's absolutely no way anything else is going to get my riding except for conservative. Because it's a Bible Belt. I mean, it's all run by farmland and it's all conservative. That's what it is. So, I mean, what do you do? I mean, of course I vote green at that point, right? So, that's what I believe in.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you got to take a look at your riding and then see when you're riding what's going to win, and then it's going to be that kind of
strategic
a game.
voting as a concept, Matt.
I think it's a good idea but you got to know what you're doing and check out your local riding before you get behind it. Check out 308, the website 308.
Right.
Will help you. I'm just going to stop there. Maybe you should bring in. You got another guest you want to bring up because I'm going to go hang out with. Where are the Beard Brothers again? The Beard Brothers, like to thank them as our platinum sponsor and Boss Vape Company and the Sublimator. They're over by the Sublimator. So we want to thank all those three sponsors. Yeah. And I'm going to go check them out.
Matt,
and you can bring out a new guest.
And thanks for doing this with us every year. It's always a pleasure.
Awesome, Matt.
I like your new outfit. I was wondering what it was going to be. How many changes of outfits do you have this time around?
I think I brought about 8.
8?
I think I brought 8 outfits. And I'm glad you like. Enough. I mean, I'm wearing Versace pants.
Oh, man.
These are I got Versace and this.
We call Matt the Cher of the pop movement.
No, Lady Gaga. You're so old.
The Lady Gaga guy, I know.
Lady Gaga of Ganja. She visited Vapor Central, by the way. So.
I always like Cher's old outfits better than Lady Gaga's like meat outfit, though. You know?
I don't know about that.
All right, Matt. Well, thanks for coming up here, brother, and thanks for giving everybody the instructions on how this works. You guys, not only do you have to vote in the election, you must vote in this this thing. Fill this out.
It's
like very, very important.
Just show up.
Yeah, just show up.
Just show up. I mean,
and that goes for your contest ballots. Get them done, and we'll be reminding you guys out there about the ballots a lot. We'll be bringing Matt back up here to crack the whip.
Well, I grab my ballot. If you don't have it, make sure you get yours. What?
The thing we wanted to talk about next was
when I'm
dabbing in general, extracts as a concept. Matt Murnaugh, cannabis champion of the universe. Thanks, Matt. Big hand for Matt, everybody.
Where's the mailman? Where
mailman? Yeah, we need Ryan Mailman up here to do this dabbing thing with us.
Yeah,
is he in the house somewhere?
Tommy, do you know where he is?
Somebody find Mr.
He's around.
Huh.
We got an Andy Dabber.
They're
He's
grabbing
around. So actually, no. What we were talking about and what you wanted to talk about was
I want to tell people because we have tons of people who are very knowledgeable about cannabis in the house here. But I think some people who are even the most knowledgeable people don't necessarily know everything there is to know about extracts and even what some of these names mean, like live resin or some of these things. Like
so much.
So what I want to do is I want to go through these things with you guys. Go through what shatter, butter, live resin, rosin, frozen, all of these things, and find out what are these things? How are these made? Ratings. What is this shit exactly? What are we smoking? So Ryan Mailman from Kind Selections here. Yeah, this is another master. Not only is this guy winning contests, but these guys together are like, the two of you guys know exactly what you're doing. Your stuff is like rating at ridiculous.
We can go back
records and stuff.
We can go back years ago when we were at this cup 3 years ago, and I won the Pollen Master, and I completely donated it to this guy so he would get him away from the stuff I was doing because I wanted to learn a little bit more. But he took it to another level, and then he learned it more and got into where the ovens got involved and stuff like that. And it's just been interesting to watch how.
And you just got back from a cross-country trip.
Oh, yeah, we went all the way to PEI and back, and I guess I should keep it a little closer to my mouth, but we went all the way to PEI, saw the red dirt, and had a little incident with the road pirates, we'll call them, but...
road pirates.
The pigs were on you.
So we would call those the police.
They were pretty gentle as far as it goes. They were pretty gentle as far as it goes, but...
Yeah, but I mean, you guys were... From Kind Selections is the name of your company, right?
Yeah.
And so you guys were going across the country to talk to people about your products, but also kind of hang with people and it was kind of a mission to do that as well, right?
And
what was the mission?
And show off.
What was the mission?
Show off some glass, show the whole cannabis messages we went across, and the fun of it all, checking out different restaurants and different attractions everywhere. The home of Winnie the Pooh.
The home of Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah, it was, you know where the old man sits down with the kid and then starts reading the book?
Oh, yeah.
I sat on that bench.
Oh.
And wherever Tommy Bong is, he actually, we kind of held him up into the statue.
Hilarious. Yes, Tommy Bong was with you. Pot TV's Tommy Bong, good producer for us. He'll be back doing stuff soon at Pot TV too, since he's back. But when you guys were, some of the stuff that I wanted to talk to you guys about was actually the products themselves. So, at Kind Selections, what do you guys make?
Mostly solvent extractions. Full...
So petrochemicals.
Yeah, you can say petrochemicals,
Okay,
yes.
just curious.
Generally a butane-propane mix.
Petrochemicals.
Which is your standard these days.
So the general concept, in order to extract the trichomes from the cannabis plant, those little mushrooming buds of active ingredient goodness that grow all over the plant, you got to get them off the plant in some way. So how are you going to get them off? There's only a few ways to do it, and some of the best ways are using an alcohol or a solvent to wash it, get that stuff off, or in ways like with Johnny B's favorite stuff, dry sift and rosin and things. These are all things that... These are all solventless.
Team sift is what I was distracted over here.
Team sift.
Team sift. I see.
I think Remo just screamed out team sift.
So, and there's a debate in the community as to, are the solvents left behind in some of the extracts and things like that? You got to clean them as much as you possibly can.
Well, there's certain things that the chemicals are going to strip from the molecule, from different alcohol terpenes to different water terpenes, what hexane does, stuff like that, and we lose that, and that's why we get more of the flavors that we're getting from the sifts and stuff. I know I was
going to ask you, run us through the process of how this is done. Take the plant and what do you do with it?
Yeah, sorry.
There's a lot of different ways. You can either go with your fresh frozen, which is a debated topic.
Yeah, we'll get into some of the names after.
But whatever, you can go with your product that comes directly off, gets frozen and ran, wherever, however old it is, in a million different topics. But we won't get into that. You can dry it, however. Drying it is your more general thing people want, because everybody really likes the shatter. I guess it's pretty. Really, it's all the same at the end of the day.
And so why is it that things like, so there's butters, there's oils, there's, the shatters, why is the consistency so different between these products?
Time, temperature, humidity, and basic agitation and oxidization of the actual trichome heads.
And moisture.
I said humidity.
And moisture as well.
But moisture, you could say just a second time, because that makes a big difference. The moisture of the product in the start.
So tell us about how you make some of your shatter, for instance. How's that done?
You're going to want a really, really dry material to start with. And you're going to want extremely cold solvent. Butane comes out around minus 18 to minus 30 when it's spraying at full speed. So you want to get your butane actually colder than...
Why is it important, the coldness of it?
Less chlorophyll, less waxes, less fats. Just the THC and the cannabinoids is what you want.
So you take that and you wash your product in some way?
Yeah, it's basically we're not going to say a closed loop system because it's not quite a closed loop. It's more of a closed system. Because looping warm butane back over the material makes no sense.
I hear the name closed loop system a lot, and this is a machine that takes it and...
Yeah, the meaning of the loop is to re-loop the butane back over, but you're running it through a machine, a vacuum that heats it up, a pump that heats it up, and then running it back over. So that makes no sense. It makes a lot more sense to me to run it through once, collect it, run it through. And then you're not running hot butane over your material ever.
Right, makes sense. So, and then you take that, once this product comes out, how does that work? What happens?
Then you use your fluid recovery pump, vacuum recovery pump, pull it all back out until there's no butane left, pour it out, and it's about 96 hours, give or take.
So it's a considerable process. It takes time.
It's about
effort.
96 hours in the oven before you're going to be anywhere in the range of under 100 parts per million.
Right, and then so how do you refine that to the product you call shatter then?
Basically, you lay it out flat on whatever surface. I'm not going to play that game because there's so many different opinions. We'll just say parchment, be a nice, easy, run-of-the-mill thing.
Right.
We're just going to say parchment because I don't want to hear it. And lay it out as thin as you can. Not as thin as you can, but on there. and then it's about 96 hours. Anywhere from, some guys go 99 degrees, some guys go as high as 125.
Huh? No, I don't, oh, there we go. And temperatures are what I've understood. Like, I know with the higher temperatures, more of the butters, and lower temperatures, more shatters.
I personally beg to differ on that, but again, we won't start arguments and controversies.
No, just curious, right?
So there's a few elements in there that could change that consistency of the
I
product.
have no idea
You might end
about
up with
it.
something more gooey or something.
About 117 degrees, your volatile terpenes start to boil, and then it starts to oxidize the actual surface area of and then basically you butter off. At about 117. Some guys will argue and whatever, I don't really care.
It's not about arguing, it's about what you do, right? So, I mean, it's how you do something, and that's a process that you've learned, and you've got a good process.
If you keep it under around 115 degrees, you
there
never have any...
Yeah.
Oh, Neil has a waving question. Are you
Oh,
everything good?
no.
We're good?
No.
Oh, I see. Okay, we're going to wrap it up. Okay, 10 minutes? Okay, cool. So let's go through some of the products themselves. We just talked about how shatter's made. What is butter exactly? Why is it different in that way?
More air has been introduced.
More whipping.
Therefore, as the air comes out, it's agitated more, and your surface tension, surface tension is broken. As soon as you break your surface tension, your crystal heads
Putting little bubbles in it, essentially.
Yeah, basically it can oxidize.
Cool. What about live resin? What is live resin?
Very argued term, but the way it's supposed to be is under 6-week-old plant, cut down, frozen immediately, and ran, again, at sub-zero temperatures in which to get your best of the best. But I personally kind of think it's adding
that's
water.
Why we look at the terpenes, because what I always say in my grow room, between day 42 and day 45, it smells like Christmas dinner. That's week 6. Right, so, and I've said that in my videos over the years, right?
And you were telling me that you take the whole plant, you were lucky enough to be able to take it outside and freeze the whole thing.
In Manitoba, throw the whole thing outside, minus 45, and it was frozen quite well. We put a Christmas tree bag underneath.
That was easy, eh?
Hedge flippers.
The word fresh frozen, we hear that. Is that the similar, that's related
I remember when you did that, you called me. I did fresh frozen MKU, and I laughed at it.
Yeah, we talked about it quite, 3 years ago, before this was even a
thing.
Yeah, it was.
But essentially, fresh frozen is what everybody calls live resin.
Here's the different thing. I do fresh frozen bubble, which is different again, right? And then I did the fresh frozen which is different again. So everything has to do with moisture again and stuff like that. So there's all different
and
fresh frozen
and those are
in a sense.
We were talking about the solvent extracts for the most part there. You use different alcohols, including, there's a number of different kinds of extracts you can use or solvents to do that.
Oh, so many.
And, some of them are like, you talked about there's a CO2 system as well, things like that. But also, Johnny, you mentioned the bubble hash. That's a water extraction.
Well, what I'm more involved with is I do water extractions and I do mechanical extraction with screens. So, for me, it's just the way that I'm able to, I like it better. It's something that I'm not spending thousands of dollars on as a medical patient, because in order for me to obtain what I'm looking for, if I wanted to use, I would be getting into ovens, which I know people get into and stuff, but for me, I'm solvent extraction. It's more flavor. I like it better. I'm an organic grower, so
you can dry sift it from over a screen. You can do the water extraction with bubble bags and a nylon bag. And now, Johnny, the big one is this rosin tech.
Rosin tech is huge in how it's taken off and how it's skyrocketed. And I laughed it up with you back in March and said the death of BHO, and you're like, it's going to be the death of BHO, and it wasn't about that. It was about how it's just so much more potent and powerful, and how quick it is, and how safe it is.
And so tell, for those who don't know or who are watching at home, what rosin is what?
Is there's different ways. You can get fresh weed and you can squish it with a hot iron. So
basically
a hair straightener. They now have rosin presses through hydraulic presses.
Between two pieces of hot metal, essentially.
Two pieces of hot metal.
And a piece of parchment paper.
In the beginning, for me, I was always pressing really hard with my hand. Felt like I was having a heart attack. Now I see people putting full knee weight on it, stepping on it, pulling on tables, getting vice grips. We're learning so much about it.
And you literally squeeze the product right out of it.
I can't
and
believe
then you just scrape
how
it off
much it's changed since I learned it from Soil Grown Cell. and in the last, since March to now, it's, yeah, I mean, you're securing. What I look at is, and when I talk with other people, the buds that are dry, we don't get as much. The buds that have moisture, you're getting more of the resin is coming out because it's able to transport. It's not getting dried up into the plant matter itself. So I believe what we talk about is moisture has a key part of doing a lot of these extractions, and then how it is too. So, I mean, I found when I was using fresh bud that had more moisture, I would get really nice results, and just more terpene than the dry stuff. I didn't feel like I was getting anything. So that's when I started compacting the buds. I put it into like a garlic press and make these hard little nugs. But I mean, there's so much when it comes into that. That's like a whole new thing we're going to talk about tomorrow, doing the bubble hash and talk about dry sifting and stuff like that.
What about this idea that solvent gets left behind when you're doing a solvent extraction, and there's some parts per million left in there that could be harming you in some way? What do you say to people who ask about that, Ryan?
For me, when we're getting our stuff tested and we're under the 100 parts per million, it's 500 parts per million when you light a lighter and you light your joint. Is minimum 500 parts per million.
The butane that comes off of that spark.
Minimum.
That's not necessarily good, though. Even though you're
I'm just kind of laying it
at
out
all
there
is bad in some ways, right? So how do you reduce that? How do you make sure there's nothing left behind?
Higher temperature, longer times.
So it takes a little bit more effort. So
a little more
people
effort
cutting corners then might have that stuff left in there if they don't do it for long enough. So how do you know? I mean, other than testing it, is there a way that average Joe can tell if there's what's bad resin and what's good resin?
The best way to tell is how you feel after you smoke it.
Basically, what it comes down to the market and in the industry right now, you just got to trust the guy that's making it, because there is no real results. There's nothing happening here. Maybe down in Denver and stuff like that, in these legal states, they're having certain bylaws. But I think
can you taste the solvents at all?
When you're used to smoking something, when you're used to smoking something that has 50 or 100 parts or less all the time, you get no tickle. As soon as you smoke something that is higher, you feel it right away.
So your body starts to become aware of those things as the more nuance. If you're a connoisseur, then I guess you pick up on those little things. But yeah, well, I mean, it's such a crazy landscape that everything seems to be moving to this new delivery method. And in a lot of ways, I think it's because the plant material itself is just one of those extras that a lot of people want to get rid of. You get higher when you do it in a crazy dab dose.
We get a little bit more into it till we get into the LHO extractions, and then we get into the non-solvent extractions, and this has got into what they call a clear. So there's so much more coming.
What's in there, Johnny?
This is like a THC distillate. It's just pure. Yeah, it's pure THC. Comes from Horatio LHO extractions. We're talking about, and I find it very well works for my pain, and because there's really no terpenes in with this, that's why I have all my different hashes. I can just dip a little tiny bit into this, and that's what you guys have all been trying, and Jody and everybody, I've been kind of dabbing you guys out and letting you try it. You tried it.
It was delicious.
And it's delicious. It's amazing. No one's coughing. It's completely solventless. It's good,
very
clean medicine. And it's trying to get this information out and how we can get that to people. So, I mean, it's clean comes down to it.
And Horatio, now there's another way to extract using the terpenes themselves, right?
Of course, there's all different. Yes, we have terpenes, and they're more or less getting involved with that. Well, we have that in Colorado, and that's through that's
you're using
United
basically
Cannabis.
what's a part of the cannabis plant itself to extract.
With the limonene,
there's so much involved with it, because now we know that terpenes are modulating THC and the effects and how things happen, and they're playing with terpenes so much right now. It's.
What were you going to say about the limonene?
I was going to say, I believe the limonene he uses extracted from oranges. But
from oranges, yeah.
Yeah. When you buy it separately, it's not going to come from cannabis.
Well, it's
right.
A whole
no,
new
of course.
level.
But what I mean is that the cannabis plant already contains these ingredients.
Some of these terpenes as well, yes.
Yeah, exactly.
100%, right? I mean, I don't know how many different terpenes there are. Most machines out there, by the looks of it and sounds of it, run about 19 different terpenes for testing. I mean, we look at how those terpenes are affecting, and I know, and when we deal with, I was dealing with psychologists and psychiatrists, and they were taking a look at the terpenes involvement in psychoactive effects and patients and stuff like that. So they were taking the terpene profiles of what they're looking at and seeing how they modulate, and that comes down to essential oils and stuff like that. We can get more into all that kind of things and how that affects mood, pain, everything. And
The science of cannabis.
So much more to it. It's unreal.
It's cool that you guys are at the forefront of this, and it's just going to continue. I mean, what are
100%. And
where does it go next now? What's the next thing?
You brought up your game, and what you know is great to sit here and listen. Like, it's not everybody's involved in the way because they're passionate about how it helps, and that's why sitting here listening to you talk about how you opened up my mind today about how you're doing things, talking about the temperatures and stuff, which is awesome.
Yeah, and the
education for everybody.
The best thing you can do is everybody sit around the table and talk.
Yeah, that's
if everybody with an open mind is the best way you're going to get anything done ever, no matter what you're talking about.
What's going to be the next big thing? Is there something on the horizon coming? Is it where are you? What are the things that are interesting you now? Like you were telling me about that 96% shit. Like that's
there was one that came out at 96% total THC.
Wow.
Can't wait to test
That's the
that.
record setter from the company that you were being tested
They said
at.
that was the highest they had seen, which is stupidly high.
Yeah, it's pretty high. And what was so high about that one? Why was that one different?
Honestly, the worst part is I wish I knew.
It'd be interesting to see what something like that would be because, I mean, the type
hard
of
to
high
know.
that you're getting from this and the type of high we get from that when we modulate with certain things is quite intense, right? So, and you
that's that same stuff, Johnny, that we were hitting before?
Yeah,
I want to hit that
I put
again.
a little tiny drop on there. I dropped that in. Stone Advisory took a picture of like 3 little triclone heads of bubble hash. That's all it takes to give it that flavor. You don't need a whole lot. And that's what everybody was puffing on.
Have you had some of that shit? Have you tried that?
Yeah.
Absolutely
It's like, everybody's like, what the hell,
it's really
right?
awesome.
Like, and when it comes to solventless, this here is by far it's a whole different level. But I mean that's other people doing research. That's me learning from Mark and stuff like that. How I do my hashes, the separations. Heating it, we know that give more terpenes. How we're squishing it, different temperatures. How I do into these different poles. Like there's so much when it comes to learning about this plant. It's unreal.
It's fun too, actually.
Oh,
I like
you
it.
can't
You know,
stop.
in the pot community, it seems like the labels and the things we call stuff and all these things actually has some effect.
The governments are
it's
watching
marketing or
us. They
something,
wouldn't
right?
learn from what if they didn't watch us. They wouldn't be learning either, right?
Yeah.
So
it's these
like,
techniques though that are cool, and people want to know. You know, I'd like to know more about it all. So.
Yeah, I think that's kind of a lot of people would really, and
it really comes down to is everybody's their own artist.
exactly.
That's what it comes down to. Like there's Picasso's, there's Da Vinci's, everybody's an artist. And like there's the Cubans, there's all of these, there's a bubble man, there's so many different artists. There's
The cannabis
the
arts.
Tonys, there's the
Now we're
there's-
getting to wrap it up
there's the
here,
Emerys,
so
there's
we're getting to
everybody's
roll it
got-
on.
Yeah, that's right. So we're gonna
There's
have
the
to
Neil,
put this show to bed.
Neil's an artist.
Yeah,
What's going on? That's been fun. Are you guys having fun out there?
Yeah, Mr. Magnuson.
Hey, we got a little bit of a situation going on. Where's Jeff Lundstrom? Where is this guy? Come on up here. There he is. There he is. Come on up here, Jeff. Have a seat. Have a
The
seat
birthday
here.
boy.
Somebody's got to give up a seat
Here,
here.
sit here, brother.
Which one do you want? I'll sit here. I want to sit.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Thanks
So
for coming
yeah,
on,
there's
brother.
a little
Thanks,
situation
guys.
going on here. There's a few things I wanted to talk to you about. Let's see, what was that first one? There's a cake or something. Where is that? Is there a cake out there coming?
Neil thinks I need cake.
It's his birthday, in case you don't know. This is Jeff's birthday today. It's not just the most
Neil
fun
thinks
day
I
of the
need
year
cake.
because of the Prairie Harvest Cup. It's also his birthday, which has got to be more fun than the Prairie Harvest
How's
Cup.
everybody feeling? See? You're all excited.
Oh,
You guys enjoy the show? Is it live? Glass blowing's gonna fire up. That'll be fun.
yeah, we got fire going all right. I
And
can
we're
see it
getting
over
stoned.
there.
How's the judging going?
All right, here we go. Here we go. Okay, now the second thing is everybody wanted to say something to you. I think they're all ready. You guys all ready? Follow me. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Jeff. Happy All right. So did you make a wish before you
Broad,
blew that
strong lungs of the cannabis smoker.
out? Did you make a wish?
And thank you. Did I make a wish?
Did you make a wish?
My wish has already come true. Right here.
Okay.
Right now.
And more than you know, because some of your friends got together and they decided that they wanted to do something special for you. So we got a collaboration that happened between Shine Pipes and Redbeard Glass and Gibson's Glass, and they'd like to give that to you right now. Wow, that is something special. Woo! All right. Got the Skunk Funk logo on the handle. Oh, that is a beautiful piece. Wow. Oh, that's so beautiful.
Thank you, everybody, so much. Thanks for coming, and shit, I think we're gonna eat some of this cake and hit this. You guys like that's a beautiful piece. Holy shit. Thank you so much. And thank you guys, like, this is the best birthday ever.
Cake is infused.
You know, last year I celebrated my birthday in Vancouver. Right after my cup, I went down to Vancouver to decompress, and I had my birthday party at Vapor Central, so a lot of the people that are here tonight were there. And I just want to say thanks. I love you guys. Have fun. Let's get high. Woo! Woo! And they ain't never stopping us, ever. We're going to smoke till we die. Some of us.
And there's cake
you
for
do
everybody.
know that's a 420 cake, birthday cake too, eh? I know, I supplied the camera. Oh, nice job. He's like, of course, I supplied the weed for it. I was making sure.
So Jeff, I guess up next is we're setting the DJ up and stuff to have some tunes for the night, right? That's what's coming up next?
Entertainment for tonight, yeah. We're about to get fired. Well, we're going to eat cake, and then we're going to have a DJ start spinning, DJ Mind Merge, and then we're going to go into a recording artist, and then we're going to get into some more performances, and yeah, have fun. That's exactly what's in the plan. So it's cake time. Who wants a piece?
I want a piece. There's cups coming.
There's cups. Yeah, I'll just give
Cool.
you a whole bag.
I don't want to get chocolate on me.
Yeah, don't do that. Want me to cut that thing? Sure.
There's 2 layers here, just to let you know. You can cut it as 2 separate layers.
I see. All right.
There's medicated and there's cupcakes that are non-medicated.
All right.
And I hope this works because that's what we got.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Gathering style, you know?
We'll see what we can do here. These guys, I guess, would be a good idea. Napkins?
I'm going to have to ask for them here right now.
I can just see it now, that's all.
It's super gooey, hey? So is this pretty awesome?
That's insane awesome, dude. Like,
MNC logo in there?
oh, it's like fucking retarded. Yeah, I do. There's a box in my phone that has a jeez. If that's dude, it's right there. Right there, yeah. Well, make sure you save a couple we need for upstairs later. Okay.
Turn it to the side so you can see the horn.
Hold on, I'm probably sweating.
You look fine.
Woo!
Success without any chocolate on me yet. Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, so we have medicated cake, birthday cake, as well as non-medicated cupcakes. So if you guys would like to come get some, you can just come over to the side of the stage and we'll hook you up upon request. As long as we have enough, we'll keep giving it out and get real high.
Can you take a couple on your phone of what's going
I
on?
love edibles, my favorite.
I can't use my phone right now, and I like to share them with the online crew, with